What up, what up? This is Dave from the 516 podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw a video this week that, quite frankly, it made me sick to my stomach. A very popular Twitch, YouTube, whatever you want to call it, guy. He went into a Subway restaurant. His name is Aiden Ross, and he's famous he has a big Twitch account, a lot of followers, and Braden was like, why... He's famous for no reason. He's famous for reacting to things. How's that work? And I was like, well, Braden, we do a podcast where all we do is react to movies we just watched. So I'm going to need you to tone down that talk a little bit because, if we can make some Aiden Ross money, that'd be pretty cool. But Aiden Ross went in to a Subway sandwich shop, which, great choice, Aiden. You're doing the right thing there, supporting the Mecca of the United States. And Aiden Ross tipped the Subway worker $1,000. And the Subway worker didn't react to Aiden Ross's liking. And Aiden Ross commented on that. But fuck you, Aiden Ross. You go in the Subway with your cameras. There's like 6 fucking dudes there. There's one dude videotaping it the whole time. They keep going, yo, Zam, what up? And they keep like high-fiving each other the whole time. Those kids, they made the dude. It took the dude like 20 minutes to make their sandwiches because they weren't paying attention to him. And then he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna tip you $1,000. What do you think about that?" And the guy's like, "All right, cool." Like what? Like he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You gonna get it all?" He's like, "Yeah, as far as I know, yeah." He's like, "All right." Aiden Ross wasn't happy that the guy wasn't like, "Oh my god, you're tipping me $1,000." Aiden Ross, I tip $1,000 every fucking time I go to Subway. I don't bring a camera in. I don't make some big production. This is a 40-year-old man who was like, I don't like that these 19-year-old kids are videotaping me while I'm working and patronizing the fuck out of me, being like, look how big of a tip I'm giving you. That just changed your life, huh? It's nothing to me. $1,000, that's nothing to me. Fuck you, Aiden Ross. Fuck you. Fuck your $1,000. You're not good enough for Tony Hawk. You proved it in that video. You are not good enough for Tony Hawk. But Subway is. And the man working behind that counter definitely is. Subway, they're good enough for Tony Hawk. They're good enough for you. Subway, please give us $1,000.
This the Palm Beach County anthem. All my Palm Beach County niggas, y'all put them fucking guns in there and bust them shit. Bitch, I'm from Palm Beach County, that's where I'm from. When niggas get gunned down and left like all guns just for fucking round. This ain't the county for you bitches to come around.
What up, and welcome to another episode of the 5-6 Kings podcast. I'm David Breen. With me, as always, Braden Bullard. Braden, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm doing pretty good.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear it.
How are you doing?
Doing well. Got a little emotional with the Aiden Ross.
Oh, no.
But,
what happened?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. We
No?
already talked. You heard all about that. What do you mean, what happened? Yeah. I just recorded it.
Didn't know if you wanted to elaborate.
But hearing the Palm Beach County anthem, that gets me back in the right headspace.
It always does.
And speaking of which, thank you, Suave Smooth, for that lead-in. And we had our first official Suave Smooth sighting.
No way.
On the 5-6 Kings podcast. Oh, yeah. Eating breakfast at, and I won't say where. I don't
gotta keep that exclusive.
That could be Suave Smooth's regular breakfast place.
Yeah.
I will say it's a landmark, classic West Palm location. They have a little courtyard outside. I'm sitting there with my brother, his fiance. Lo and behold, Suave Smooth comes strolling through.
Oh, and I bet with a bunch of bitches, huh?
Just one.
Oh.
Just one.
Respectable.
Just one lady.
Respectable.
All right? You throw that bitch word around a lot. Suave Smooth's there with a lady. Could be his wife. For all you know, Braden.
Goes from all the street gangs to respectable family. I feel that.
I mean, he has kids and stuff. Do you follow him on Instagram? Dude, go follow him on Instagram. It's great. He's like posting like boat day with my daughters and stuff. He's like a family man now. It's great.
I didn't know.
It's great. But he was there with a nice young woman, and I didn't want to bother him, so I just gave him a nod and said, "Sup, Suave?"
Smooth, David.
He nodded and said, "How's it going, man?" And then walked on through, had his breakfast. I got 2 eggs, 2 pieces of bacon, 2 pieces of sausage, And then I substituted the home fries. You can get home fries grits.
Nice.
I was like, I'm gonna do the home fries. Instead of home fries, I want French fries. And they brought
Yeah.
it was steak fries. It was perfect.
Yeah.
And toast.
That sounds
and
like
a coffee.
breakfast.
I hope Suave did something similar.
I was going to say, what do you think Suave got?
That's what it had I noticed he was there and already ordered.
Uh-huh.
I would have said to my waiter, I'd be like, I'll have whatever Mr. Smooth had. I'll have whatever Mr. Smooth's having over there. And the guy would be like, I got you.
Ask like your waiter too. Can we get the Palm Beach County anthem on here?
Yeah, can you play you got that on the jukebox? Let's just let's get this place going.
Especially since in honor of Mr. Smooth over here.
Yeah, play just all Suaves. Play Palm Beach County anthem.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, Get Back, Gangsters and Thugs.
Yeah,
just play
classics.
Just play them all.
Yeah.
Just play them all. But Suave, if you're listening, I know you are. It's great seeing you. I love you, and you're welcome to come on the show anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to come on the show, you are more than welcome.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
He's a legend in our books.
He's a legend in fucking Palm Beach County.
In
everyone's book.
yeah.
If there's a book of legends that doesn't have Suave Smooth in it,
Better burn
that book needs to
fucking
be
book. Yeah.
be burned.
Yeah.
Like an old school German, we're gonna burn all the Jew books in the town.
And then take the ashes, put it in a treasure chest, and throw it in the middle of the fucking ocean.
We don't want to pollute the ocean, Braden.
Oh, you're
Come
right.
on, that goes against everything Suave Smooth taught us. All right? When does he talk about pollute the ocean? He loves Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County, that's the ocean, man. We're right on the ocean.
You're right. You're right.
All right.
Oh, God.
So back to this episode.
Yeah.
All right, Suave. Check us out. Come by anytime.
Yeah. Thanks, Suave.
So, guys, this week, as you know, because we told you last week, we watched M. Night Shyamalan's psychological thriller, The Village, which is available for free with a subscription to Peacock TV, or you can rent it on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, Vudu, or Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is actually, it's 30 cents more expensive than all of the other ones.
Yep.
So, like, I mean, if you're going to rent it,
And respect,
do it on something other than Amazon Prime.
for finding that out for all the listeners out there. David just saved you 30 cents. So
There you go. You can send that 30 cents to at David-Breen-7 on Venmo.
don't worry, we'll set up one for the Kings. But yeah, for
Yeah,
now,
we'll set one up for the Kings. Or just email the 56 Kings. It's all words. FIVESIXKING at gmail.com. And, if you want to set up a Venmo so you can send us that 30. You're like, I don't want to just send it to David. That's not fair. This is a podcast. And we'll set up a 56 Kings Venmo. You can send it our way.
we appreciate it. Oh, yeah, but we did The Village. The release date was July 30th, 2004. I like to pronounce his name M. Night Shyamalan. I just it just seems so fun.
What's an incorrect pronunciation of the man's name, Braden? Why are you choosing to do that?
So this movie had a crazy budget. I'm just thinking maybe IMDb got it wrong or something, but apparently the estimated budget was $60 million. Me and David guessed earlier, and we're like, the most has got to be is at most $20 million. There's no way. What do you think Shyamalan did with that extra $40 million?
Well, that's it. And what I've got to be guessing is that's the studio budget. Studio had to pay M. Night Shyamalan. They had to pay Joaquin Phoenix. I'm guessing those two didn't come cheap at all. But but 60 still, Smoking Aces had an awesome awesome cast, and what was like 27 million? Yeah. It was a very small budget. But 17, it was 17 million.
Yeah.
And there were explosions and fucking the Tremor brothers just doing crazy things
And this whole time I was thinking oh, this is so inspirational. What a creative filmmaker to make such a great movie on such a low budget. Come to find out this thing was $60 million fucking dollars. So that surprised me, but fuck, gross worldwide, it made $256 fucking million, almost 257. So
do you think that's a lot of money?
I mean, kinda.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah. But I totally thought it was, I thought their budget was way, way less. So, I mean, still good for them for making,
Well, they had to get Adrian Brody retard lessons. Is how, like, I was reading in the thing.
That shit's got to be expensive.
They were like, that's
right?
what they kept calling it. It blew my mind. They kept being like, he had to get the retard lessons, and those didn't come cheap. That was a lot of the money. It was bananas.
Yeah. Do you think that the cast was what made it so expensive? They were just like, I want more money.
I mean, like, what else would it have been? Like,
It had to be all those wooden small houses.
so like, that's one thing. Like, they had to build the little village there.
Yeah, but there are a bunch of
like,
small houses.
yeah, and like, what did that cost them $1 million?
Yeah.
Like
At
the
at
land and
very
everything.
most, yeah.
Like, that's
And they're literally, it says here that they filmed in Pennsylvania, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that they actually at the end set it up that they were in Pennsylvania on a wildlife preserve. So I'm sure they fucking got it for free. Like where they filmed on that land, like if it was actually, I don't know, or maybe they paid a little bit of money.
no one's giving them land for free.
A lot of locations, man, they just grant you the rights to film there. You just ask. I mean, and if it's a big budget, then you'll probably. And if you're
I'd
there
be like,
for
your
a while,
budget's $60 million. Yeah, you're gonna give me some of that.
yeah.
There's
No,
no
for sure.
way.
For sure.
This ain't the big frozen gumshoe brain. I'm sure Burns Road Park wasn't charging you guys.
No, we for one of the big films I did. That's sarcastic. It was kind of. It
was big? It was big?
We filmed in one of them. We filmed in the middle of Delray, downtown Delray. Closed down everything.
Did you?
Yeah, shit.
Look at that.
I didn't even know it. That's how stupid I am. I ended up going to downtown Delray, and I was like, "Oh, this is where we filmed." And then I was like, "Oh, wait, this is downtown Delray."
That was. Dude, watch. Where we're talking about a different movie now, guys. We're talking about the big frozen gumshoe,
Yeah.
starring Braden Bullard. I don't know who else is in it. I don't know any of the other names, but starring Braden Bullard. Braden's
It's the only name you need.
I was expecting Braden to jump in and say some of his cast members' names, but he's got nothing. It looks like. So I apologize. No, you're not allowed to look it up. Get away from your fucking computer.
No, I'm not looking
Get
it
away
up.
from
I'm
your
not looking.
computer.
I know my some of my friends, but
Dude, best
We'll
part
go over
of
it.
best part of watching that movie was like, oh, it's Burns Road Park. Like, oh, that's fucking Atlantic Avenue. Like,
Yeah.
seeing local places. That's what the 5-6 Kings are all about, man.
Yeah.
They're all about Palm Beach County.
local community. That's what we're about. But yeah, good for them. They made back to the village. They made a shit ton of fucking money. Good for Shamalama.
Real quick. How great would it be if we just didn't talk about the village from now on? I just talked about the big frozen gumshoe for an hour and a half.
Well, the Big Frozen Gumshoe doesn't have as many awards or nominations as the Village. So let's go over these 24 nominations and these 4 wins. We'll go over the nominations first. So nominated for Best Achievement in Music Written for Motion Pictures Original Score for the Academy Awards.
How many nominations are there?
24.
Let's not read all 24.
Okay. I asked David before. He's like,
Yeah,
"Oh, we're gonna read all 24."
but now that I'm thinking of like how just because that's
Ridiculous.
that's what you started with. You started with best achievement in music,
That's
and
what I'm saying.
I'm like, oh man, this is gonna get real boring. About 8 nominations into this, I can stop making it sound exciting that these are nominations.
Yeah, let me make the 4 wins sound exciting.
There we go.
Holy shit. The ASCAP Film and Television Music Award. They are the winner for the top box office film.
It's just they made money.
Yeah, I don't know.
How's that an award?
I don't
That's
know.
just like you made the most money.
They got a name here,
Here's
too.
a statue.
James Newton Howard.
Oh, James Newton Howard.
Oh, yeah, he won. For the top box office film. Okay, so let's make the
Attaboy,
next...
James. Congrats.
Yeah. Their next win was for Best Technical Artistic Achievement by Roger Deakins for The Lady Killers. Even by the Evening Standard British Film Awards.
What?
Fuck that, man.
No, what the Lady Killers?
I don't even know what the fuck
That wasn't a part of this movie.
That's what I'm saying. It says for the Lady Killers. I'm like, the fuck? IMDb.
Was this a music thing?
It says Best Technical Artistic Achievement. Who
All
the
right.
fuck are coming? Who's coming up with these awards?
I don't know. Let's hear number 3.
It's gonna be like, oh man, I was gonna say something fucked up about Adrian Brody. Never mind. Okay, so the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards They won for worst film. No way. I love reading these
Chainsaw.
things
We're back to Chainsaw Awards.
because this is like pure reaction.
For those longtime listeners, real quick, that was Joyride was nominated.
Yeah.
They didn't win.
Yeah, they didn't win, but this one for the worst film.
That's
Fuck
great.
them. Because a lot of the reviews say what an underrated film. That's what most of the reviews say. So fuck the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. I actually like The Village. So for you to say that it's the worst film,
I love that something called the Fangoria Chainsaw Awards I really hope M. Night Shyamalan was there and accepted the award. Nothing would make me happier than to hear M. Night Shyamalan. He was there. He
and has
accepted
a
this
prepared
award.
speech and totally was serious. I just want to thank
It's
everyone.
a lot of work went into this. All right, what's number 4? Let's hear
All
it.
right. So the International Film Music Critics Award. It won Best Original Score for Horror Thriller Film. Yeah, nice.
It was a solid score.
Yeah.
I'll give it to him. It was a good score.
Yeah, it definitely got me.
Were they nominated for any like actual awards? Is there a Golden Globe in there?
We got the Teen Choice Awards.
There we go.
They
They didn't win the surfboard.
didn't win.
It's disappointing.
They got the MTV Breakthrough Female nominee
For Blindy?
it just
Bryce Dallas Howard?
Yep.
Okay.
Because she fucking
She's great.
snapped in this film.
She was great.
Way better than Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I just didn't like it. It wasn't her. It was just Jurassic World. Bryce Dallas is just amazing. But yeah, they should have won more awards. Fucking nominated 24 fucking times for all these teen choice bullshit. Turkish film critics, whatever.
All right, let's talk ratings.
Yeah, so IMDb gave it a 6.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is fucked up. Gave it a 43%. So is Metacritic with a 44. But them Google users gave it a 79%.
That's classic Google users right there.
Yeah, right
classic.
there. But what did the 5-6 Kings give it?
Oh, what you got, Braden?
I give it personally.
We're doing a 1 to 10 rating. You can use decimals.
Yeah, 1 to 10 decimals. 1 bite. Everyone knows the deal. I'm giving it a 7.6. 7.6. That's pretty good. That's way better than average. Yeah. What do you give it, David?
Give it a 6.
6?
I really, as a movie, I did not like this at all.
Okay.
Didn't like the movie. But Bryce Dallas Howard, I thought did great. Joaquin Phoenix did great. Adrian Brody, fucking amazing. My favorite part of this movie by far was Adrian Brody.
So you like the characters and the acting?
The characters and the actors did great. The story as a whole, I thought was dog shit.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. I hated it.
You felt like they could have done more. You just didn't like it in general.
I didn't like it in general. I thought it was fucking preposterous what they did.
You don't think it could have been true? What if it's true?
Even more preposterous. Even more, and then my issues with how they went about doing it are even more validated.
Oh, awesome! I'm hyped to hear this. All right, so
we gonna jump in?
Yeah, should we jump in from the beginning?
All right, so the movie starts. They're in a field. Everyone's dressed in old timey clothes, Little House on the Prairie outfits. And there is a tiny coffin, and there's a man holding the coffin and crying. And you look on the tombstone, and it says whatever his fucking name is. There's a lot of names. I don't think you guys need to know the names.
They cut half the name out. They just
it's something like Thompson might have been the last name or something. But it said he's born in 1890.
Or Nicholson.
Died in 1897. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm going to forget the name next time I need to say it. So, dead kid.
Yeah.
Dead kid, 7-year-old. But remember the year, 1890 is when he was born, 1897 is when he dies. Next scene, they're at, the whole village is there. There's these long tables. There's 100 people. And William Hurt, who plays Edward Walker, who's like a school teacher.
Another great actor.
But he's also like, he's the leader of the community.
Yeah.
He's like giving a speech. He's like, at times like these, it's sad, but we mustn't forget why we settled here. And then the dad of the boy like grabs his arm and looks sad, and he's like, and we're grateful. And then he sits down, and everyone's going to start eating. And in the woods off to the side, you hear
some weird like
it's like a like a weird
just
noise.
like draws out, and then like
weird noise like a War of the Worlds type noise.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck's... I'd never seen it. I was like, what the fuck's this movie going to be about? What's going on there?
I was like hyped for David just to watch it. Just like, I wonder where he thinks this is going to go.
And everyone is scared, but Adrian Brody stands up and starts laughing and clapping. And you don't really know, like, the person next to him just kind of like, hey, come on, sit down. And you can't... So, like, you have no idea what the noise is. You don't know why. Like, people are scared. Adrian Brody's excited. You don't know, like, oh, is he a badass? Is he, like...
I was thinking this is, like, post-PTSD from Kong Island or something.
Yeah, and he's like, come, let's fucking do it! like it was wild, but, like, he sits down.
Yeah, and then they kind of... Well, they're doing a little bit of, like, showing, like, the village and stuff like that. How people live their lives, like, in the village. So they have, like, kids cleaning, people... fucking with sheep and shit, doing, picking in the garden, doing a bunch of just like random things, sweeping the
two girls are sweeping porches.
Yeah, they're showing what they're doing for fun. They're spinning around in circles with their brooms, and then they see out the corner is like red berries that are growing on the side of the porch, and they freak out and they go in, and they bury it in the ground as soon as possible, and then they get back to sweeping.
So here's the thing, though: they don't get all of it when they pull it. I watched this movie twice in the last few days. They pull like the stem of berries, like half of them are still there, and they go bury half of them. So, like they were just so quick to go do it that they weren't fucking thorough about it, and that's why the porches look like shit.
Yeah,
because these girls aren't thorough about doing their job.
You're right. They're spinning in circles. They don't care that the dust is going everywhere.
No, it's fucking nonsense what they're doing. They don't clean.
Yeah.
Right.
So they're basically setting up the rest of the fucking village for failure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they just show like another part, kind of like the way the village is set up. So they have like lights. So they're living on like a prairie.
So it's torches.
Torches, yeah. So they have torches that outline their village. And they have these stands, these guard posts basically, where one person will, I guess, keep lookout. That's what we're seeing. They're showing this right now. Just like a quick thing, and it shows that there's like a bell with them, and you're kind of like, why the fuck are these people, watching the edge of woods that are completely dark?
Yeah.
So you don't know what's going on. And I don't know if we said this, but on the tombstone it said 1890. So
I said it probably 3 times.
Okay.
And at one point I even said, remember the year.
Well, yeah. So my
Braden,
head
remember the year.
I'm just thinking so much about Adrian Brody, bro. My bad.
Yeah.
And Shyamalan. So now we're you see this, like, they show this image of they just kind of like do this random shot where you're looking at this fucking puddle and you see this red silhouette.
It's like a
figure walking by.
It's a big red hooded figure.
Yeah.
And it just kind of walks through quickly.
Yeah. And it's very eerie. They're setting up like bunch of
there's
eerie
spooky
vibes.
music.
Yeah.
They won best score at the whatever Chainsaw Massacre.
That's
awards.
where the extra $20 million went, huh?
Because the music, the timing, the parts where it's quiet,
they do a lot.
They do very well
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. So then we cut to
Next, is it the elders meeting?
No, this is when the kids they stumble upon and the main dude
Okay.
walks up.
William Hurt, yeah.
Yeah, and he walks up and there's this dead fox
Animal, something.
Yeah, and it's like skinned very weirdly, and all the kids are just like sitting there, not saying a fucking word, looking at it, like really looking at it.
Yeah. So the kids circle around it. William Hurt comes up and says, real quick, they talk in like Old English this whole movie.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. He says something like, what has grasped your attention so strongly that you were like, I can't even fake Old English. I can't even fucking do it. He says like a weird, basically he's like, the fuck you guys looking at? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, we got to go in the class. Do I need to bring that in with me so you guys look at me? It's what he says, but he says it weirdly. And then they're in the classroom.
What haveth your eyes grasped upon?
Yeah, it's something like that. And you're like, come on, like just talk normal, please. So then they're in there doing the class. All the kids are there, and he's like, what do you guys think did this? And everyone's quiet. And one girl speaks up and goes, those we do not speak of. And he goes,
Yes.
why would they have done it? And she's like, they're meat eaters, they're vicious. He's like, but they don't come into our land. It's like, we stay out of their woods, they stay out of our valleys. It's a treaty we've had for many years. So that's them laying the groundwork of, oh, there's something in the woods that there was conflict between the people and them with, but now they have a treaty. And they stay in their own land and stay out of each other's ways.
And it just shows like how attention, oriented these kids are, and sketched out, but also like understand it and need to like know, and
Well,
like,
these kids are like, there's something fucking scary in the woods that would have skinned an animal and left it in front of our school.
but they were like, because he was asking too, and they were very specific with what happened to the animal, because one of the girls was like, its head was twisted backwards and the fur was clean from its body and the hooves were this was like very specific. But yeah, I mean, fuck, man, the actor was so good with like drawing you into the scene. And then we cut to the elders.
The elders, all right.
So we have like a room in one of their main halls or something, and you have the elders, and it's like consists of like 10 people.
William Hurt, his wife, Sigourney Weaver, some other people. Brendan Gleeson is part of the elders.
Yeah, stacked cast.
There's a doctor dude. Just the elders is what they are.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, Sigourney Weaver is the woman from Aliens.
Yeah, like if anyone's listening to this and they don't know who Sigourney Weaver is, like she's probably the most famous person in this movie. I've said William Hurt's name like 5 times, and I would venture to say most people don't know who William Hurt is.
Would be
Joaquin Phoenix is up there, but what's more famous than Aliens that Joaquin Phoenix has done? Like the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker.
Yeah, but fuck him. Fuck him. Remember when he went crazy?
Oh, dude, he's gone crazy a couple fucking times.
Yeah, but it was fake.
Oh, what?
It was a fake, yeah, like his public meltdown where he was going on Letterman and like wearing his sunglasses.
Oh,
and
does he explain
sticking
it
his
later
gum.
or something?
Yeah, you gotta look it up. Yeah, that was him like fucking just being crazy for the sake of being crazy.
Oh,
it's amazing.
What a bastard!
It's amazing, but like he like puts his gum on Letterman's table. He's like, all right, fucking. He's great. But Joaquin Phoenix walks into the room now with the elders, and he's reading a piece of paper, and he's like, my mother does not know why I'm here, nor does she know my intentions. The kid dying of illness, the 7-year-old kid who just died, and among other things that have gone on in this community, I'd like to walk through the woods to the next town over in search of new medicines. I think it'll help the community. Basically, I want to walk through the woods. I want to go find help in a town somewhere where they might have new medicine, so 7-year-olds aren't dying of illness.
Yeah, and then he says too, another main reason why he thinks he can go is because he thinks those that we don't speak about won't harm him because they'll realize his intentions are pure.
Those we don't
speak of will realize his intentions are pure.
He's like, animals can sense it, and if they know my intentions are pure, they'll let me pass through. And the elders
just like look at him.
Yeah, they're just
and then
kinda...
it cuts to later that night where we find out that Sigourney Weaver is his mother. And
is that the next cut?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's just them talking.
Is this where she's like, your fucking father was murdered?
In
the town over, she's like knitting, and he's sitting there holding it for her. And she's like, if it's not, it's just I already said it. This is what we're gonna do.
Yeah. It's a little bit later, but
she's like, your father was murdered in the town. He was found naked and robbed and dead in the river. And he just starts crying. He's like, why are you telling me this? She's like, because I need you to know how dangerous the town is. He's like, those we don't speak of isn't all you need to worry about. You get to that town, you might get fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And he's like, I wanna go help the family. I wanna help the town. And then he's like, speaking of which, this kid's in the tower tonight. I told him I'd go sit with him.
Yeah.
And he goes up there to sit with his buddy who's in the watchtower.
Yeah.
looking out for those we don't speak of. There's a bell up there that he'd ring if they came through.
Yeah, so they're buddies, and this kid is one of the main like watchers of like the town or whatever, or at least that's like what he's positioned to. And it's just very eerie the way the shot is set up and everything like that. And this other
because it's dark, and then it's just there's torch lights that you can kind of see their faces with. It's spooky.
Yeah, and they set up these characters to where everyone is super timid because they've been growing up in a village that has apparently fucking crazy beings or sounds that fucking haunt them. I'd be fucking a timid little motherfucker too. But yeah, so they're just sitting
You
up
are
there.
a timid little motherfucker.
Fuck
I mean,
you.
you would be.
But yeah, and then it just like it kind of like they fade out into the woods, and there's like these creepy fucking twig breaking sounds, and you're like, oh fuck. And then they cut to the next scene where some people who are like in a garden picking apples or some shit stumble upon another dead little fox. And then we go to a town hall meeting where Sigourney Weaver is holding a random
She's
baby and talking to the town
basically
and-
saying like it's coyotes.
well, she's trying to be like, yeah.
She's like, look, those we don't speak of are so fucking big. These is coyotes. We're fine.
Yeah.
We don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Everyone. She's trying to put the town at ease,
Yeah,
basically.
because everyone's freaking out that there's two dead foxes in really weird ways. So they think it's the ones that they don't speak of.
Yeah. Next, we talking sticks next? We talking stick fight?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so guys, this was the scene.
No, we have...
Come on, you asshole.
My bad. So we have actually... where the girl of the main dude of the village
okay,
is
so
like asking him
It is
for-
Edward Walker's daughter,
Yeah.
William Hurt. She's like, I'm in love with a boy. It's Lucius, which is Joaquin Phoenix's character.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, why isn't the boy here? And she's like, he doesn't know. He's like, the boy doesn't know? She's like, but Daddy, I need your blessing to marry him. Do I have your blessing? And he's like, you do, but you don't talk to anyone before you talk to the boy. And the next scene, she shows up to where Joaquin Phoenix is working. And the big thing, Joaquin Phoenix doesn't talk a lot.
He doesn't.
That's what's drawing her to him, is how quiet and stoic he is. And she shows up. She's like, I love you more than the sun and the moon and earth, food and water. The booty more important than food. The booty more important than water. You ever seen that video?
No.
The Booty Master?
No, I was
It's
like, what are you
this guy.
talking about?
It's this guy in prison, and it's just fucking uncomfortable. It's like CNN is there interviewing him, and he's talking about raping dudes in the ass. He's like, the booty more important than food. Booty more important than water. And then he's like, if I see a new guy around, I'll just say, come here. Good? No, come on over here. He's like, so I like you, and I want to be with you. Now we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. And he goes, 9 times out of 10, they just say yes. Like,
Bro, what?
It's so fucking wild. Watching that, I'm like, oh, I could never go to prison. I was like, I couldn't handle that interaction with that guy. I would be so scared.
That's when you fucking break off a piece of your bed and create a shank.
Yeah.
You just carry that shit around everywhere.
Well, what if, but like, if you're there for something, you're doing like a year in prison. You're like, what am I going to murder someone and not do life in prison?
My dog D
Like-
Money, Dyro, or also known as Diego.
I don't know. Maybe don't put his shit out there on our podcast.
He just got out of jail, being in there for like a year. My dog was like running the pen, bro.
Yeah, but like, what if he murdered someone and now he's doing life because the Booty Master said we could do this the easy way or the hard way? He just killed him. Then he wouldn't have gotten out after that year.
Knowing my dog D Money, he would have found a way to start trapping bread loaves, and before you know it, he would have been running that penitentiary.
All right. So she tells Joaquin Phoenix how much she loves him. If you feel the same way, we shouldn't hide it anymore. And then the next scene goes to her. She's just crying in bed.
Yeah.
Crying in bed. Braden, did you learn the song?
No, I didn't.
God damn it, Braden. I gave Braden one job for this podcast. Her sister
How
is...
the fuck am I going to be able to sing
her-
something that
her
was so well done
sister's-
by Bryce?
Her sister is played by Bryce Dallas Howard. Her name's Ivy. She's sitting in bed, like, caressing her hair, petting her.
How the breeze
Yeah.
stirs the trees.
She's singing a
How
song.
the blossoms grow.
Do you know it? What's this? What do you? Come on, no, you need to memorize it.
Yeah.
She's like petting her hair while she's crying, and she's singing to her. And then the camera pans out, and mom, dad, and like a bunch of young kids are just sitting there watching this in the bed. And I thought, what the fuck's that all about?
Yeah.
I have 4 sisters. If one of them were crying in bed, like sobbing, and one of them is comforting her, the rest of us aren't just sitting there watching it.
Yeah.
That'd be absurd. They'd be like, hey, well, my sister would be like, hey, why don't you guys come back? She's not doing so well. Why don't you guys come see her later? I'll talk to her.
Then we cut to what I think is one of the, which is hard to say, one of the weirdest scenes I think of this movie. The guy who lost his son in the beginning is Brendan Gleeson. We cut to him sleeping with Joaquin Phoenix just walking.
No, stop.
Huh.
You're making it sound like the guy's sitting by the fire. He might be asleep in the chair.
Yeah.
But he's not like sleeping with Joaquin Phoenix walking. It makes it sound like he's in bed and Joaquin Phoenix walks into his bedroom.
No, yeah, but this is the dude's house, bro. It's not like it's like the local community center or some shit. Like it's Joaquin Phoenix noticing a dude passing out in his living room near his fire and walking in and like bringing in fire and
bringing in fire. So that's not
super.
That weird. Dude, it's 1890. I imagine there's a thing like that's Joaquin Phoenix's job. He goes and gets people firewood, brings it to their house.
Just like looks through their window.
Because the guy wakes up and he's like,
August is sleeping near the fire. I need to bring him more firewood.
But August wakes up and he's like, you're very good. You're a good young man.
He's like, you're very
Lucius.
kind. Yeah.
He's happy. He's like, thank you for doing this. Like, hey, you fucking dick. What are you doing?
Yeah, I just felt like it was.
What are you doing? Shitting on Joaquin?
Dude, if
Lucius
I woke
just
up,
being a hey, Lucius just being a good kid. He's bringing the fire. Well, this guy just lost his son, and the guy's like, "You're a very good young man, Lucius. I appreciate you doing this for me."
Bro, I would be scared shitless if I woke up to some dude stirring my fire.
It's because, dude, you got trust issues. I think you were sexually assaulted as a child. And I think that's where all your trust issues stem from. Because this is fine. They're a tight knit community. They're a tight knit community. And he's like, dude, August wakes up. He's not scared. He just goes, oh, thank you. It'd be weird today if you went to your neighbor's house. You were just sitting there, you're like, I'm just giving you some firewood. That'd be weird. In that scenario, it seemed perfectly fine.
I want y'all to go comment. Go watch the movie. Go comment underneath 5-6 Kings. Let us know on Instagram. Comment on YouTube. Anywhere.
You're gonna fucking lose this. This what you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to pick one that you're clearly gonna lose?
I want to know the listener's perspective. Am I wrong? Is David right? Let us know.
All right. Now are we at the stick fight? Because that's.
No,
I wanted to do this movie just because I wanted to talk about the stick fight.
No. Now we're out by the edge of the woods with
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg, and he's got his back.
Great. Because he has his back to the woods. He's standing on a log,
fucking freaking out.
And the woods is making the noise, and there's 3 boys like crouched behind a log. They're like, "You're being very brave. Keep it up, just a little bit longer." And the one kid says, "Quit jostling about. You're gonna wrinkle my shirt." And we're gonna come back to that. Because you would think him saying that would be enough of this motherfucker talking about his shirt. Yeah. We hear about it 2 more times this movie. I don't know why. I don't know if M. Night Shyamalan is like everyone has that one friend who's really worried about his shirt getting wrinkled. It doesn't make sense.
I think the reason why is because they probably
I disagree with whatever you're about to say.
I just think they probably...
I hate that this was part of the movie because nobody else did this.
But it's like
nobody else did it. It's just this one guy talking about his shirt getting wrinkled all the time.
They probably have a limited amount of clothing, and they probably only have since they're
so why does nobody else care? Just this one psycho. Yeah. That is my problem with it. If this whole movie was just about people not wanting their shirt to get wrinkled, I could get on board. But it's just one guy. It's one guy. And I'm like, why is that part of this fucking movie?
Maybe he knows that's his only clothes.
But so Jesse Eisenberg, he's got his back to it, and the woods is making noise, and eventually he's like, I can't do it anymore. I'm scared. I'm scared.
You know, they built up the suspense. They got the great score. They got
score. It's good score.
It's good score. Yeah, and then Jesse is running away, and he's like,
and all the boys run back into town. They cross paths with Joaquin Phoenix. They're joking around. Joaquin's just being quiet and keeps walking.
They cut back to them running back to the village, and it is literally, this village is like maybe 1 mile.
It's not big.
Yeah, it's not big at all.
No.
Yeah.
So now we're at the stick fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We're at the stick fight.
We're at the fucking stick fight.
So Adrian Brody there's like a bunch of kids around, and he's got a stick, and he's like avoiding them, and he keeps hitting them in the legs. He's good at it.
Oh, yeah.
But in his movements...
He could have been a fencer.
In his movements, in the way he's doing this, and then he's wrestling on the ground. But I looked at Braden, and I go, oh, is Adrian Brody disabled in this movie? And he's like, oh, yeah. I didn't know that up until then. Because all we saw was him laughing and clapping, and I... watching it a second time, I was like, oh, obviously it's what they're going. But like, just, you don't know for sure. Here, I'm like, oh, he's playing a disabled person. And then the blind girl walks up and she says, Adrian Brody, whatever his real name is. I don't care. Adrian Brody, what are you doing? You're not supposed to hit anyone. He like just stops immediately and walks with her. And they walk to the quiet room.
Yeah.
She opens the door and she's like, you know you're in trouble, right? Well, you want me to get there?
Okay, my
She's like, you're in trouble, right? And he's like, no hitting. And she's like, how about we make a deal? And he goes, capital idea. Capital idea. And she goes, we don't need to tell anyone about this happening as long as you agree to never hit another person again. And he goes, okay. And then she's like, all right, is it a deal? And he goes, deal. And then she like nudges and points at her cheek. He kisses her on the cheek. And then she closes the door. The quiet room, it felt eerie. When it was open, like it felt like a quiet, like it felt like you would either be super zen meditating in it or you would go fucking crazy.
Yeah. I think I would go crazy in any of these old fucking homes.
And she closed the door and she's like, what should we do with our new freedom? She's like, should we have a foot race? He goes, okay, but no cheating. And she's like, why would you even say that? I demand you take it back. And then she goes, what's that over there? And he looks and she takes off. And then he chases after her.
I immediately fall in love with Bryce right there. I'm like, God, I just wish some girl would treat me like a fucking idiot.
So he runs after her, and he wins the race, and they go to where Joaquin Phoenix is sitting. Adrian Brody sits next to him. He gives him some bread that he's eaten.
And this looks like one of the edges of...
It's right on the edge of the woods.
Yeah,
It's like a big rock to sit on.
If I grew up my whole life here in the woods, I don't even know if I'd be sitting there. I don't know if that'd be my chill spot.
That's your trust issues. That's you're like, they're not going to stay in their woods. They're gonna. You got to learn to trust people, Brady. You got to learn to trust people.
The past 3 days, there's been like dead foxes with their heads fucking broken backwards.
No. No, it is just your trust issues. It is just your trust issues.
It's not the score.
So they sit there. It's not the score. The score's fantastic. Nothing wrong with the score. So they're sitting there. She comes up, and she's like 7 feet away. And she goes, my sister was crying a lot last night. She's like, aren't you wondering how I know who you are? Yeah, you have a color to you. Some people do. No, I won't tell you your color. It's not ladylike. I can't believe you'd even ask.
And it was at this point that David was like, oh, wait, is she blind?
Yeah. I didn't know she was blind until this.
I was like, her waving the cane at the ground while running.
So you make it sound like she was like all over the place. She had a cane. I thought maybe she had a fucked up leg or something. And then they ran. And yeah, she had a huge head start, and Adrian Brody had still beat her. I was like, she got a messed up leg. She needed the head start. No, she's... And then guys, so like I'm defending it. It's very obvious she's blind. But...
She's like staring very obviously like in the distance, like can't focus on anything with her eyes.
Yeah, she's blind. But he says, Joaquin Phoenix says under his breath, Adrian Brody walked off. Joaquin Phoenix says under his breath, you run like a boy.
Yeah.
Says, thank you.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, this is great.
And then Adrian Brody comes back. He shushes Joaquin Phoenix and then grabs blind girl's hand and puts a frog in it, and she doesn't know what it is, and then it ribbits and hops, and she's like, oh my God.
And then I was thinking, like, that's how people fucking flirted back in the late 1800s.
Absolutely. Well, that's how you fuck with blind people, too. You just put frogs in their hand. I do every day. I go down to the Blind Learning Center, and I'm just giving them frogs and watching how they react. It's great.
They probably love it.
You should come do it sometime. Yeah, they get a kick out of it.
Yeah,
right? David. David's around again. And then Adrian Brody pulls some berries out of his pocket and gives it to the blind girl. And she goes, oh, berries, what a great treat. And Joaquin Phoenix goes, those are the bad color. And she goes, these draw those we do not speak. We must bury them. And then Joaquin Phoenix is like, where'd you get those berries? And then it cuts to Joaquin Phoenix is reading a note to the elders again. I don't know why he doesn't just see. He's fucking like, there's something off with Joaquin Phoenix because this is all like he's always reading letters that he writes instead of just going in and telling him. He reads it off a piece of paper. But he's reading off. He's like, Adrian Brody showed me at Sitting Rock where
Resting Rock
that he cut. There's a cutout into the woods, and he went through there and got berries, and those we do not speak let him in. I think they can sense his innocence. Therefore, I suggest again that you allow me to go to the next town in search of new medicines. He's just using this. He's like, here's my way of doing it. Yeah. And then he's talking to his mom again. Oh, so the blind girl was asking Joaquin Phoenix. She's like, why'd you stop grabbing my hand? She's like, you used to hold my hand when we were younger. Because she's like, she's like, I know why you didn't marry my sister. She's like, why'd you stop holding my hand when we were younger? She's like, I think it's because people don't do things they want to do because they don't want other people to know they want to do them.
That was the main quote of the movie, too.
It was great, yeah.
Yeah.
Joaquin Phoenix tries to do it in this scene, but botches it real bad. He's with his mom, and this is actually where this is where mom's like, your father was fucking naked and murdered in a river, and he starts crying. He's like, why are you telling me this? And he's like, I'm not the only one with secrets in this town. Everyone has secrets. Edward Walker has feelings for you. And she's like, why would you say that? He's like, he barely looks at you.
No, he says he never touches you.
Never touches you. And he's like, because you don't do things you want to do because people want to do them.
Because you don't want to.
And then he's like, no, it wasn't. Like, I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or if it was just supposed to be like this kid.
Well, it's just showing that his character has like a tough time internalizing and like articulating his thoughts. Yeah.
But he's sticking to. He's like, I want to go to the next town for medicines.
Well, he talks to two about. He's like the secrets in the town.
Everyone has a fucking box in their house with secrets, and she's like, it's so I don't forget about them, so they don't come up later. I keep them close so they don't come back to get me.
Some bad
reason.
Excuse.
He's like, well, let's fucking open it. She's like, no, we're not going to open it.
Yeah, and it was basically like, well, they actually fight more. I think that's when they start talking
they're
about
arguing and shit, and all that, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So we just cut that very
we
quick.
got the important stuff out of it.
Yeah, and then it shows we cut to a scene where Joaquin Phoenix is walking on the edge. They have a bunch of like tree posts and like lights and stuff like that.
All the torches and shit.
Yeah.
And he's wearing yellow.
And they have like yellow flags on some of these tree posts and stuff. And he's wearing a yellow hood.
Looks like a rain jacket.
Yeah.
It's like a yellow hood.
It's not so it's rain jacket.
It's like wool or whatever. It's not.
Yeah.
Rain jacket material.
And he's walking on the edge and he's just feeling the woods. He's thinking he might just go in there, and guess what? He fucking does. He breaks the fucking agreement. He walks into the woods, and he does some fucking crazy shit where he walks in. There again, it's super suspenseful, and he finds one of the fucking berry red bushes. And right as he's fucking staring at it, he notices something walk by him, like to the right of him, by a tree. And Joaquin Phoenix does what he does so well, which is act super awkward and just like walk away.
But yeah, like he didn't like jump or anything. He played it cool. What's weird about this is that it's daytime when he does that, and the next scene is him walking out, and it's dark out. But he walks out and he walks along this wall, and he sees blind girl. She's like looking in the bushes, talking, and then she looks up. It's like, oh hey. And she's like, I'm playing hide and seek with Adrian Brody.
Once again, they're on the very. It seems like they're on the
edge. They're right where the torches are. Yeah,
they're right past it.
She's like, I'm playing hide and seek with Adrian Brody. He probably went back to the house, even though he knows the house is off limits. Then they start walking, and she talks about her and her sister are watching the kids that night, and her sister has agreed to be married, and she says the name. And says, you find it an odd choice, no? She's like, he doesn't sit with his back against seats for fear of the chair wrinkling his shirt. Which, again, like, it's that fucking guy. And, like, he's been in 2 scenes, and both scenes have very, like, the focal point of him is that he doesn't want his shirt wrinkled. He doesn't sit back when he sits down because he doesn't want the back of his shirt to wrinkle. And, like, she's fucking blind, and she notices that he does that. Like, it's insane. And then she,
well, she also says, like,
she's like, and now I'm free to marry.
Yeah, and she's talking about that, and she walks inside.
Hold on, because something else happened. She goes to step up on the stairs, like, to walk in, and then pretends to, like, stumble back. And Joaquin Phoenix doesn't grab her. She's like, you still aren't grabbing me, huh? And then she walks in, and you can see through the window. She goes in the bedroom, and she opens a closet door and grabs something out of it, and you can see Adrian Brody's in the closet. And he's just trying his best not to laugh. He plays this off so well because he's quiet laughing, and then she like grabs it and then goes to close the door, and he's like, yes. Like, he's so excited that she didn't find him
while waiting there for probably hours.
Yeah, how long was he in the closet? Like, that was the big. He's like, oh shit.
They came back from like a long walk and talk.
They're out on the edge of town.
Yeah,
near the woods,
and he was just there.
So next we're up at the tower, and there's a big bang. And the kid up in the tower is like, Lucius, and then he opens the door and he sees a creature wearing a red hood and like bangs his head, and then
that score too.
Oh, the score is guys.
My God.
Guys, you got to hear the score when this is going on.
The score,
but
it's just so in it.
So he's like sitting up against a wall, not doing anything for a second. And then, like, slowly gets up and rings the bell to alert the town. Like, he waited way longer than he should have. I wish multiple people would have gotten killed because of this little fucker. But
me too.
Rings the bell, so the town now knows, oh, shit, those we don't speak of came in. And everyone's going. They're getting inside. Lucius is just, he's scooping kids up in both arms, putting them in houses. He's closing people's
the best of all men.
Like, Joaquin Phoenix saving the town. The house with Adrian Brody, blind girl, her sister Kitty, and all the kids. They're boarding that house up. They're closing it, and they have like a little door looks like a little bunker inside the house. You get down and you're safe down there.
Adrian Brody is fucking
Adrian Brody's pumped.
He's
so
like,
he's like, yeah. He's like, they're coming.
He's literally waving his hands in the air, and
it's so great.
Yeah, so they're cutting all over to the town. And then we get to Bryce Dallas, and she's just doing the coolest thing. It's just such a beautiful moment.
It was the dumbest thing.
I loved it. I thought it was like, oh, well, really quick right before this, you get a little side shot of Joaquin Phoenix hiding from the creatures as one of the creatures is approaching the house.
Yeah. So he boards up one house, and the creature walks by, and he like ducks around the corner to avoid it.
Yeah, and he hears in the thing is fucking like really weird sounding and looking. You don't really like fully see it, but it's sketchy. And then Bryce Dallas is just standing at the front door with it open, just waiting for Lucius. And she's like, Lucius is gonna come.
Holding her hand out.
Yeah, she's like, Lucius will be here.
Her sister is like, no, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he's in a house somewhere. He's safe. He's fine. Get down in the shelter with us and close the door.
Right?
You're going to get us all killed.
Yeah.
She's like, no.
He'll be here.
Lucius is coming.
Being blind.
Yeah. Just holding her hand out.
Well, no. She actually says the very first thing I think she says is, Lucius still is running in the town. And she
senses it. She's like, he is running in the town.
Yeah. He'll be here. And then, God, man, the suspense, the score, everything.
Score. So, because you can see
great.
those we don't speak of walking toward her. And, like, right before it gets there, Lucius jumps on the porch, grabs her hand, and it freezes for, like, half a second on they're holding hands.
Yeah.
This is a big deal. And what I didn't like about this is that, like, there needed to be more of a build-up for that.
Yeah.
For me to really give a shit that they were holding hands. Because it felt like they wanted to... It was like in Django Unchained when he and his wife are finally together and they're kissing. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No, it felt like we were supposed to feel like that. Like, oh, this is amazing. Thank God. And it just kind of felt like, yeah, whatever. Like, he's there. I'm glad Blind Girl didn't get murdered.
I get what you're saying. I feel like the editing and everything that they did was really well, but they didn't do enough in this whole storyline to build up to that moment.
To build that up, yeah. I was like, yeah, whatever.
They fucking flirted like a couple times.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
And so they go in. They're down in the bunker with everybody. Adrian Brody's still pumped. Every like scratch and shit he hears. He's like, yeah, there they are. He's so excited.
Yeah, and Bryce Dallas is just being the best scared blind woman I've ever seen.
Yeah, and she's sitting there. So at this point, her and Joaquin Phoenix do not let go of each other's hands.
Which is the signifier that, like, oh, they're together now.
Yeah. So cut to town meeting.
Well, it's now showing, like, couple little views of, like, the town, and, like, there's, like, markings all over the doors, like these red slash marks. It's like, oh, do they bring fucking paint?
It's blood. I think there's dead animals all over the place.
Oh yeah,
it's
that's
the blood
right.
of the animals.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And they're having a town hall meeting, and they're like, they fucking those we don't speak of haven't crossed into our borders in a very long time. Does anyone know why this could have happened? And then one of the elders gets handed a note, and they're like, it says, please read this for the whole town to hear. And it's, I crossed into the woods.
I have burdened us.
Yesterday.
I've shamed us.
I've shamed my family. I've shamed the town. Blah, 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 blah. I went in the woods. It's Joaquin Phoenix wrote it. And then William Hurt, Edward Walker, Mr. Walker, he's walking over towards Joaquin Phoenix. Adrian Brody's following him, and he's right behind him. He's wagging his finger. He's like, he's in trouble. Like,
Which now,
so excited.
I kind of
we can. You're now. We can circle back to that.
Okay.
If it's what I think you're about to say, we'll circle back to that.
Yeah.
What you doing there?
Just fixing my seat.
All right. And so Joaquin Phoenix is crying. He's in the back, and Mr. Walker walks up to him, and like Joaquin Phoenix is like so remorseful, and he's like, "It's okay, son. You are more brave than I could ever know, or you've done something that took more courage than I could ever have. Whatever." He's like, "It's very brave.
You are fearless in a way that I shall never know.
You are fearless in a way that I shall never know." And he kind of like looks at him. He's like, "Okay. All right, thank you." Thank you. And that's the end of that scene.
Yeah, now they're at a wedding dinner, right?
Yeah, okay. So it's the wedding. It's Kitty, blind girl's sister, who Joaquin Phoenix had noticed. She's marrying that one guy.
She would have just took anyone, am I right?
Yeah. And so blind girl is sitting over, she's like sitting in the grass on a blanket with a lady who's like, I had an older sister. And she's like, get out of here. For real? She's like, why didn't she come to the town with us? She's like, oh, she was murdered by a group of guys. We find out later just how much worse that was. But she was murdered by a group of guys in the town we used to live in.
Holy shit.
And she's like, oh. And then she walks in, and Kitty and her new husband are like standing there greeting everybody as they come in. And she hugs her sister for a very long time. And it's like a hard, long hug. And her sister hugs back, and then she walks away. And her sister's new husband says, she's not going to squeeze my shirt like that, is she? Like fucking 3 scenes, guys. And it's all about this dude's shirt for no reason. For no reason. And this is only like we're halfway through the movie. This guy doesn't have a line the rest of the movie.
Clothes were a big deal back in the day.
He does not have another line throughout this movie.
It's hard to come by.
And that is all he has talked about so far. It's his fucking shirt. It's baffling to me. Like, M. Night Shyamalan think like, oh, everyone knows someone who's like, I can't wrinkle my shirt. Don't hug me. I don't want to wrinkle my shirt. Like, this dude, it's fucking... Like, maybe they were trying to make him autistic, in which case go way more over the top. They probably had him more over the top. Like, we can't have him and Adrian Brody. Let's just have him talk about shirt stuff.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, they probably don't have a way to make new clothes, and these people are like, oh,
dude, no one else feels that way. No one else feels that way.
Maybe,
that's what's crazy. And other people are like, oh, he's fucking crazy for thinking that.
Maybe the extremes of the other things going on in those scenarios.
So they're dancing at the thing.
Hold on. So right before they're doing this, though, during the dinner, they give like what would you call it, a sacrifice to the
dinner
ones
feast,
they don't speak of.
The dinner feast is in like a big like gazebo looking thing.
Yeah.
Over right on the edge of the woods.
Yeah.
Like they're close to it, so I guess they're giving a sacrifice to those we don't speak of.
Yeah. So like a bunch of them walk up with like a fucking giant leg from something. Some deer or some shit.
Some kind of animal.
Yeah,
just throwing carcasses into the woods for him.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we're at now later, because that was like right before. So then it was everything you said, and then now they're at the after party, basically. They're at the after party at night, and they're all having fun.
Now, hold on. So William Hurt is greeting the guests.
Yes.
As well.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And then this is when we also see that
Sigourney Weaver,
they don't touch.
she walks up. She tries to shake his hand, and he makes a point of not shaking her hand. And she kind of has a look like, maybe my son's right.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, now that I'm looking at the people that got married, they look good for each other. I'm happy that Joaquin Phoenix turned her down. They just look good for each other. But yeah, so...
Nope. We got to let that sit for a minute.
You didn't think? You don't think so? You remember what the dude looked like? He had that little... He has your little chin hair thing.
Now we can move on.
Okay. So yeah, it's later into the party, and they're all dancing. They're showing Bryce Dallas how to dance.
You better mention the best part of all of this, them dancing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, mid-podcast, we got a treat among treats. The man, the myth, the legend himself, David Straley, just walked in.
Through a
David.
hurricane.
Gentlemen,
With a towel on.
long-time listener, first-time caller. I just want to say it's an honor to be here. You two are in the podcast role of a lifetime, and whoever doesn't think so deserves to die a traitor's death.
You heard it first. You heard it fucking first.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break here and meet with David Straley here, because I don't imagine he showed up because he wanted to be on the podcast. I think he's here for another reason. I think he came to see his buddy Braden and his buddy David. So we're going to take a quick break. While we're away, go to your local Subway sandwich shop. Don't videotape the fucking employee there and be like, I'm going to change your life with this tip because I'm doing so much better than you and I just got it like that. You're a piece of shit that works at Subway, so here's $1,000. Yeah, don't spend it all in one place. You know, don't do that to the Subway workers, but get a delicious $5 footlong. Try all their new, oh my God, they wheeled out the new menu. Try it all. David Straley can't get enough of the new menu, and we'll be right back. And we are back. I hope hope you're enjoying just the thinnest turkey that money can buy. Hope you're enjoying that right now. Always great to see David Straley. He is a Palm Beach County legend.
Yep.
I love every chance I get to see him. I love it.
Loyal-
Cutest guy I know.
Loyal listener.
It's great to see him. But we're back to the village.
We are.
Braden, do you know the best part of them dancing?
Was it kind of like when they link arms and go into a little circle tango thing and with Bryce Dallas, or?
So it's the fact that they're doing like it's dances that everybody knows. It'd be like doing the electric slide, but the electric slide didn't exist back then.
Yeah.
And she's just a step behind everybody on it, like because she can't see.
Yeah.
She's like she knows the dance, but she's just a little bit behind everybody. And that is my favorite part. I was like, you know what? They've really committed to this. They're like, you got to be a little worse at dancing than everyone else in the room.
Yeah.
Like, still know it, still be fine, but be a little behind everybody.
I like to imagine that this took the longest to film because Bryce is just such a great dancer that
she was ahead of the game.
Yeah,
They're
she
like,
was
Bryce, quit peacocking.
Yeah.
They're like, tone it down.
And that's why maybe the budget was so much, because it just took so long for her to break her great habit that they were like, they had to just keep refilming.
It took them like 10 days to do this
Yeah,
scene because she was just dancing
damn
in
it,
front of
Bryce.
everybody. That's what all the money went into. They had to be on location longer.
Yeah.
And the place was like, well, we got to charge you more.
Yeah.
We need to. You said you'd get it done in 2 months, and you're here an extra 3 weeks.
Now,
because
M.
Bryce
Night-
Dallas just dancing like
Yeah.
a champ out there.
And Shyamalan is like, Bryce Dallas better win a goddamn Oscar for this.
And she didn't.
She did.
She didn't even win a Chainsaw Award.
Not even a fucking Chainsaw Award.
So there are.
So now they're doing another dance that.
Yeah, but they're dancing, and we can hear screaming off in the distance.
No. Only Bryce can hear the scream.
We can hear it.
Well, we can hear
We,
it.
the viewer of the movie, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brace can hear it. No one else can hear it.
Yeah.
And it's because Braden felt the need to explain to me while we were watching
It's
the movie.
like Daredevil with Ben Affleck.
Braden felt the need to explain to me that because she's blind, her other senses are heightened. As though I wasn't going to pick up on that one. He's like, he's like, so she's the only one here. Like, she's looking at me unprompted. He's like, she's the only one hearing it because she's blind. So, like, her hearing and her other senses are stronger than most people's. I was like, yeah, man, that's normally how it works.
You know, like the movie Daredevil, bro.
He didn't say Daredevil. He would have at least been going somewhere with it if he did that. No, he was just explaining what happens when you're blind.
And now that I think back to it, like how ridiculous it is that I really thought that you didn't know.
You were trying to be helpful. You're
Like,
like,
hey,
hey,
I'm like, oh, David doesn't know. I need to let him know. Otherwise, he's not gonna get it.
he's gonna be completely lost the rest of this movie if I don't break this down for him. So the screen.
David's just so lost. Oh god!
Dude, how much of a piece of shit do you think I am? That you're like, I know he's not getting this. I know he's got no clue what's going on here.
All the editing, all the focus on her, he's not going to be able to piece it together.
The only thing that would have made it better is if you would have paused the movie to explain this to me. You're like, it's going to take a few minutes. I can't let him miss more of the movie.
Or question you at first, so you know what's going on.
You quiz me like, you get it, right?
So she's fucking dancing and David's getting what's going on.
So then
She hears
the screams start getting louder and closer, and now everyone's starting to notice. And everyone's kind of panicking and moving around, and it's a crowd, and she just holds her hand out. It's like Thor, because she just holds her hand out. She's holding it out, just waiting, and then Joaquin Phoenix comes through and just grabs her hand and starts walking her through the crowd.
How do you say Thor's hammer? Is that Vold?
Oh, I don't know the name. Thor's hammer.
It's a hard name. That's why I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's Thor's hammer. It's Thor's hammer. That's
Voldemort.
no, that's Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's right.
That's he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
So he grabs it, and there's these two little kids that were running up and screaming, and the crowd's calmed down a little bit, and they're sitting there, and the
this
kid
is the
says,
soothing voice of the main village dude,
Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah, he's meeting with the kids. And
William Hurt.
And the kids are like,
I just want William Hurt to calm me down anytime I just feel startled. That's what I'm looking for. Someone like William Hurt to calm up and just calm me down, to get on my level, take a knee, look me dead in my eyes, and just say, Braden, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, but you wouldn't trust him. He's got all those trust issues, man. So he's talking to the kids, and the kids are like, it was those we don't speak of. They want us gone. They want us to get the fuck out of here. And he's like, are you sure? He's like, I saw him. And he's like, all right, go over to the blind girl, Ivy. Go over to Ivy. She'll tell you. Putting the fucking pressure on Ivy, by the way. Yeah. She'll tell you some funny stories and have you laughing within seconds. If I was Ivy, I'd be like, oh, well, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's not what I'm going to do.
I'm scared as fuck.
Yeah,
right
like,
now.
what do you mean? I'm going to tell them funny stories?
I don't even know where I'm at. I'm
No,
blind.
I hope Ivy's never told him a funny story. And he's like, she'll tell you some funny stories. She's like, funny stories? What does that mean? Fuck. How am I going to do this? And then she goes in. She's like, this one lady was telling me earlier that her sister got murdered. It's pretty cool. I hope she would just panic and give her those stories. But she doesn't do any of that. She just welcomes the kids over, and she she holds them in their arms. And then Mr. Walker goes, all right, we'll walk back to town together. And then they're all walking. It's a big crowd of people.
This reminds me, honestly, I'm not even kidding. This reminds me back
Schindler's
in the day.
List?
Whoa.
When they're getting marched out of town, and it's some
Close.
walking together.
Brings me back to third grade. When we would walk back from the lunchroom back to the class. So our lunchroom was... So we're talking about St. Clair right now. This is back in the day. This is about the time when the 5-6 Kings almost originated. Gang shit. And we're at a Catholic school where our cafeteria was like, I don't know, a couple 100 feet away from the school.
Cross the parking lot.
And I just remember back in the day, we would have to get in a single file line and walk from the cafeteria back to school, and it just brought back, old memories.
There we go. It's what M. Night Shyamalan's all about.
The only thing I was missing was some weird fucking creature that was beheading and fucking skinning animals, throwing them all over, which is now we're in the neighborhood. Way to transition. Look at that. And everyone's noticing there's dead fucking...
Hold on. Was that really a transition?
Kind of, not really.
Yeah, like you're just saying what's going on in the movie.
I was looking forward to it.
You kind of threw like a memory of yourself in there, and then I don't think that's how you transition.
Whatever, bro. So, everyone's in the town now noticing there's dead coyotes. And the next thought that went into my mind, where the fuck's all these coyotes coming from? There's like 100 dead coyotes. I'm like, do you know how long that would take?
So it wasn't dead coyotes. It was dead just whatever the animal was that foxes. They kept finding dead.
It was fox. It was a fox. How many fucking foxes are you going to be able... These creatures are fucking... great hunters, apparently.
Dude, I'll show you 100 foxes. You want to see 100 foxes?
I want to see 100 foxes.
I'll take you to 100 foxes.
I want to see them skinned with their head fucking broken.
I wouldn't show you them any other way. Done deal.
And I appreciate that. That's why I love you, David. Yeah, so
they're scattered all over the place. Sigourney Weaver and William Hurt are like looking at the dead things, and she's like, coyotes couldn't do this. Like, there's blood marked too high, and they're like, coyotes couldn't. So Sigourney Weaver is like, this isn't coyotes doing it. This is something else. It's something much bigger. And then...
Which is wild that they would have that conversation at this point, because they already attacked the village.
Yeah.
People have already seen them.
Yeah. And she's like, it's not coyotes. Like, no, it's probably those
things that
things we saw coming through. And then blind girl is sleeping in her bed, and she just kind of wakes up, and like she sensed something out on the porch, and she walks out, and Joaquin Phoenix is sitting there, and she sits next to him, and she's
great senses again.
Yeah, she's like, I saw you out here. No, I'm not going to tell you you're light. Quit asking. Like,
I
she
think
whispers
right
it,
there...
She whispers it like a real cute way. I was like, it's
my
adorable
God.
the way she did that.
No,
yeah.
I fucking fell in love.
Yeah, it was so cute.
So
cute. You want blind love like that?
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
There you go. There you go.
Oh, man, I'm just so...
Let's get... Hey, any blind girls listening?
Who look like Bryce Dallas.
Braden's single. It's good. Like, not that it matters for you, because you'll see his color. He's a good-looking dude.
Thanks.
Yeah? Come check him out.
Yeah. Let me know my color. I want to know way more than fucking Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix never fucking asked. He never asked.
Yeah, that's...
That was a sneeze, if I ever heard one.
I felt it coming for like the last half hour, and I was just like, well, it's going to come eventually.
Charging up.
Yeah, it's going to come. So they're sitting out on the porch together, and she says to him... They're going to have a meeting in the town to see the breaches. And she goes, do you think you'll dance with me on our wedding night? It's like, I find dancing very agreeable.
Oh, my God. I just wish someone would speak to me like that, David.
And then he just kind of looks at her, and she goes, why don't you say what's in your mind? And then he's like, why do you have to say everything in your mind?
He's like freaking out. He's like,
why do
crying.
you have to ask questions that I should be asking? If I want to dance with you, I will ask you to dance. And if I want to speak, I will speak. I don't understand why everyone in this town, he's like going off. And he's like, and you want to know why I'm on this porch? She asked earlier. She's like, why are you on this porch? So it's dangerous out here. She's like, yeah, there's a lot of porches. He's like, you want to know why I'm on this porch? He's like, because the only time I feel fear is when I think of you and harm. I care about your safety above all others. And yes, I will dance with you on our wedding night.
I looked at David in his eyes the entire time he said that. And let me tell you,
weird.
I have a boner.
He's like, yeah, David, what are you thinking of this? Yeah, you like these? This is a good scene, huh?
Yeah, I was returning the dialogue in my head.
And then they lean in. I don't know if they actually kiss here, because they lean in to kiss, but before they touch lips, the camera pans away. And I'd like to hope Joaquin Phoenix was like, I'm not fucking kissing her. That's what I'd like to hope. I hope he's like, yeah, that could be the love story. I will not kiss her. And so...
Do they kiss?
They get
kiss.
They get very close. They get very close, but then the thing pans away. So next they're interviewing people in the town, and this one girl she interviews, she's like, I don't fucking know how there was a breach. I know everything everyone else in the town knows. And she starts to walk away, and she's like, before I go, is it true? Are Luscious and Ivy to be married? And then Dad's like, well, yeah, we spoke to them this morning, and they made their intentions clear. And she walks out, and then Ivy is meeting with her sister, who told Luscious that she loved him.
Luscious.
Luscious.
Is
what
Luscious.
Yeah. And Ivy's crying, and she's like, look, you're my sister, and I love you, and I would never trade one love for another love.
She's full of
if
shit.
you feel any pain towards this. You're my, she said, like, you're my special person, or you're my cherished one.
Yeah.
You're my cherished one.
Yeah.
And her sister's like, there's nothing you could do that would ever make me not love you. You're my cherished one as well. I love you, and I'm happy for you. Like, it's a nice little moment, these two sisters. And then cut to...
Hey, but hold on real quick. The whole fucking family isn't listening now.
Yeah, where's the rest of the family here?
Yeah.
Where are they for this one?
Only for the bad times, huh? Only for the drama.
So now cut to Lucius is at work, wherever he works. I don't even know what he fucking does. He looks like a blacksmith type thing. It's just a room where there's like wood.
No, we said it earlier. He's walking around making sure people got their firewood.
Yeah, so he's in the room, and there's a knock at the door, and he opens it, and it's Adrian Brody, and Adrian Brody's crying. And he goes, what is it? And he goes, oh, it's Ivy. And like Adrian Brody walks in, and he like walks away from him. He's like, I know you care much for her, and she cares a lot for you, but there's different kinds of love. And like just the scene, it's very quiet, and you look at the back of his head. And at this point, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be brutal, it's gonna be bloody. He's gonna bash Joaquin Phoenix's skull in, and it's gonna be wild. That doesn't happen. Instead, Joaquin Phoenix turns around, and Adrian Brody is like face to face with him, and there's no sound in the room. And then he looks down, and Adrian Brody pulls a knife out of Joaquin Phoenix's stomach. So Adrian Brody stabbed him in the stomach. And then
This is like David's favorite part.
I was so happy. I was so happy when this happened. Joaquin Phoenix falls to the ground. Adrian Brody puts the knife. He's like I don't know. Like he's nervous. Puts the knife down. Goes to walk out, and then walks back. Grabs the knife. Kneels down.
Yeah, you think he's gonna leave the whole time?
No, then kneels down and stabs Joaquin Phoenix in the chest.
Multiple times.
No, it might just be once.
No.
He stabbed him a couple times.
Yeah,
All right, whatever.
he's-
He either stabs him once or multiple times.
He's dwelling on that shit.
So he stabs him a few times, and then he is sitting on his front porch. His parents come out. He's sitting in a rocking chair. He's like nervous, laughing, and goes, "Mama," and he's covered in blood. They're like, what happened? And everyone in the town, like the parents go and they interrupt the elders meeting, and then everyone in the town is just moving around, going all over the place. And Ivy and her sister walk out of their house, and they're happy. It's two sisters. They just had a great talk. They're like, our lives are going to be, we're both going to be married. We're going to start families. It's going to be so great. And they're like noticing everyone in the town's going crazy. And these girls walk up to them and say, Adrian Brody was found covered in quarts of blood that isn't his own. He's refusing to say whose blood it is. And
she immediately
walks off. She's counting. Like, you hear her go 21, 22, 23, 24, and then, like, there's area with no talking, and then you hear 31, 32, 33, 34. Like, she counts her stat. I don't know what. She's
they
blind.
probably like
She's
helped
gotta
her know like how like that she's going to the right place. You know?
Yeah. Then she shows up where Joaquin Phoenix is, and she starts yelling his name. She's like, Lucius, you answer me this instant. And she's walking through, and then she, like, kicks his body on the ground, like, trying to walk through, and, like, bumps into it, leans down, grabs it. There's people in the town. Someone comes by, notices she's there. Because they're all they're going to every house.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Is Jesse Eisenberg in the
Yeah,
season?
it's Jesse Eisenberg.
So it's they're going to every house, seeing if anyone's injured. And Jesse Eisenberg comes by, sees her there with him on the ground, and goes, Mr. Walker! And he goes over there, and she goes, Papa, I don't see his color, Papa. And he's like, oh, shit. And he's like, get her out of here. Get her out of here. And then he sits there, and like she's screaming and crying, and they pull her away from Joaquin Phoenix's fucking bloody body, and he's leaning over it. And then there's
the woman. It's like one of the elders, and she's kind of like explaining.
It's the lady whose sister was murdered.
Yeah,
that lady.
Yeah,
I don't know why she's the one telling everybody, but she's the one telling everybody.
that he's not in good shape. Just
Yeah,
kind of like
he's-
what's going
he's
on
still
with
alive,
Joaquin
but
Phoenix.
he may not have much time left.
And it's showing Ivy.
She's covered in this blood.
Yeah, she's covered in his blood, and I like this too. They take away all the score and all the sound, and the only sound you hear is from her perspective, which is the flag that is above her, like whipping.
I mean, that's still a score.
No, yeah,
Still,
but like,
still got to score that flag.
yeah. But that's what I'm saying.
Hell of
Like
a score.
just that score, just the flag was great because it's just like
Say score one more time.
score, score.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that fucking score. Okay, sorry guys. Yeah. So it just. Oh man. So she shows up at Adrian Brody's quiet room. Quiet room? Is that what
The
it's called?
quiet room, yeah.
Quiet room?
It's where they're holding them.
Yeah, and she walks up and immediately just like finds his face, like reaching for it, and just starts slapping.
So
him in the
she
face.
reaches out and he like grabs her hand like to help her.
And then she puts her hand on his face, makes sure it's his face, and then fucking winds up, slaps his fucking ass. Like,
A handful of times she slaps him. I have a huge problem with this.
go ahead.
There's a dude who unlocked the door and let her in there to do this. Adrian Brody, yeah, he just stabbed someone a bunch of times. He is a mentally challenged person.
Yeah.
And, like, he just let a girl in there to hit him in the head. And, like, he runs in and grabs her. But, like, what are you doing? Like, she just lost the guy she was going to marry. You're like, yeah, let's go let her in the room that we're holding the person who just stabbed the guy.
Yeah.
The mentally challenged person who just stabbed the guy a few times. Like, no, you don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
You don't let her in there. And Adrian Brody doesn't handle it well. He screams and he's hitting the door. He's like, no!
Yeah.
No! Like,
He's like,
what the fuck are you doing?
And you could tell like that, like he is just throwing a fit in that room. So he's like breaking shit, and
Just
they're
fucking lose it because he stabbed Joaquin because he's in love with Ivy. And you know what? Like, the big takeaway from this movie for me, ladies, if you're listening, you can't be nice to mentally challenged people. That is my biggest takeaway from The Village. If you're a pretty girl, you need to not befriend people with disabilities. You got to just stay away from them. If you show them any kindness, they'll kill the people you love.
You know, they say beauty's a curse. You know,
Beauty is a curse. But, like, that's... I don't know if that's what they were going for here, but that's my takeaway.
Yeah,
like,
right?
You know, if you're a good-looking girl, you can't be friends with disabled people. You got to stay away from them.
maybe Shyamalan's got
they'll
something
get
against disabled people.
Oh, it'd be great if he's like, yeah, no, I my sister was friends with a disabled person, and it just made me sick. Made me sick to my
So I
stomach.
wanted to portray them the way I thought of them. Oh my god!
Yeah, like it's just like it's. I hope that's not the message she was going for, but that's what I got.
Yeah.
So now she's talking to her dad, and she's like, "You're my dad. I'm gonna listen to you
I
on
love
whatever
this.
you. I'm gonna
He is
listen to
in
you on-
love with me. I am in love with him. She is like so.
She's
serious.
just stoic, serious, like fucking dead inside.
I just
like,
wish
this is
I
what
just
needs
wish
to happen.
One person, just one, would just love me the way
Dude,
Bryce Dallas.
This has
loved
turned into a
Joaquin.
real sad episode because you keep saying that, and it's making people think like you're depressed and you don't have people in your life who care about you. Like, I just wish I had one person.
Not like Bryce
I just
Dallas.
wish I had one person.
Have you?
Nobody loves me.
Have you?
Nobody. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude.
Bro, the passion, how strong it is. Yes, David, what do you want me here to cry a river about it? Because that's what I'm about to do. Bryce Dallas is just. I was gonna cry, but then I was just like,
But you're not a good enough actor, so you could. Want to fucking roll today,
you
man.
you haven't seen all my shit, bro. Go check my shit out. You'll see me cry. You want to see me cry, David? You want to see me cry?
But so she's talking to her dad, and she's like, I wanna go through the woods. I want to go to the next town over in search of new medicines. So like what Joaquin Phoenix wanted to do earlier. She's like, I want to go do that. I want to save his life because if he dies, I die.
Yep.
That's what she says, and the dad's like,
Fuck.
all right, I don't know about all this. Like he doesn't give her a response in that moment. You can tell he's like really thinking like, man, what are we gonna do? Then he's talking to the doctor, and he's like, this doctor fucking sucks. He's like, I did the best to stop the bleeding,
He looks like
but
a fish.
I did the best to stop the bleeding, but there's an infection. All we can do now is pray. And he's like, is there anything we could do if there were no limitations? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I would really appreciate it if you answered the question. Is there anything we could do if there were no limitations? And the guy's like, if If we could kill the infection, he has a much better chance at living. And then they kind of, like, they just sit in the silence of that.
And then it cuts over to him talking to his wife.
Oh, his wife fucking so misleading in this part.
Yeah.
The wife is like, you took an oath that you would never cross over there. You would never go back to the village. She's like, you and the elders took an oath. And, like, she just keeps repeating, it's like, but it was a crime. What happened to that boy? We need to right this crime. We can't let him die. It was a crime. And she's like, you took an oath. You and the elders took an oath that you wouldn't do it. And, like, he kind of realizes that she keeps harping on that. And then he hugs her. So, like, the whole thought here is that the wife is like, I'll go.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that is the only takeaway you can get from this, that she's like, you can't go. I'll do it. She's like, I'll go, you can't go. That is not what happens.
Well,
here.
I think she ends up saying at some point, we all took an oath or something like that.
She just says, you took an oath.
Okay.
You and the elders took an oath. She is not one of the elders.
Oh, okay.
They referred to her as Ed Walker's wife earlier. Like, she is not one of the elders.
What?
Yeah. She is not one of the elders. And, like, she's just harping. She's like, you took an oath. You took an oath. So you think, oh, wife's going to go. She doesn't fucking go. Next to Ed Walker, he's talking to a blind girl. And he's like, she's sitting in a rocking chair on a porch, and he's like, I was sitting in that same chair when I found out that my daughter would never see again. I was like, oh, that's fucking, this is kind of a fucking wild thing to say. He's like, let's go for a walk. And he's talking, she's like, do you remember your grandfather? And she said, he was the wealthiest man in the village. She's like, yeah. If he had $1, he would turn that dollar into $5 in less than a fortnight. And you know what? I'm not the wealthiest man in the village. If I had $1, I could turn into a lot more than $5 in a fortnight. Is 2 weeks.
Oh shit!
So, like, it doesn't sound too impressive to me that
Yeah.
he could turn $1 into $5 in 2 weeks. But he's the wealthiest man in the village, and he's like, but he was blind to people. People robbed him. His business partner, shot him in his sleep because your grandfather trusted too much. He's the opposite of Braden. Braden's not trusting. The grandfather was too trusting. And then he's talking about, he's like, I want to prepare you for when you go to the village. So that was the fucking mom. She was like, hey, you can't go, and I'm not going to go. But let's send our fucking blind daughter through the woods to the village. Like it's just fucking crazy that that's what they came up with. Like, let's send the blind girl through the woods on this trip. And the dad's like, do you know where you are? She's like, we're by the old shed that we're not allowed to go in. And he's like, all right. And, like, he goes to open it, and he's like, try your best not to scream. And then it cuts away. That's the end of that scene. We don't see what's in the shed yet. And she's packing a bag, and then she goes and tells Joaquin Phoenix in his bed. She's like, I'm going to the town to search for new medicines. And we cut back to Ed Walker, I think.
No, well, yeah, with the elders.
He's got all the elders together, and he's like, I'm sending my blind daughter through the woods to go to the town over in search of new medicines. And like, what the fuck are you doing? You're making this call on your own? You can't make this call. Also, she's blind. What do you, like, you think that's going to work?
Yeah. So they're basically bickering about that for, like, a little bit.
They're bickering, and we jump back to that. It gets a little Smoking Aces here, where they jump around.
That's how we're going to start
Yeah.
talking about anything that gets hard to describe about movies if they're jumping a little bit much.
Yeah.
We're going to say it's getting Smoking Aces in here.
It's Smoking Aces. So she's at the edge of the woods. She's wearing a yellow fucking thing, and two boys show up, and like they're her escorts. And they're at the edge of the woods. They're all scared. She's holding a sack, and like she holds it out in front.
Like,
and then
Lucky Marbles, I think they called it.
No. And then they walk in. I'm gonna. It's very great when they say what these are.
Okay.
She starts walking in. One of the other boys walks up behind her, like he's walking in. So he's in the woods with her, and he says, "Hey, the other kid, he's not coming." And she turns around. And she's like, "You don't need to be afraid. We have the magic rocks." And she holds the sack. And this kid says the best thing that you could say there. He goes, Why are we just now hearing about these rocks? Like, he's like, that's never been a thing. Like, what, like, that's not real, what you're showing me. Like, do you think I'm just gonna be like, oh, they got magic rocks, I'm coming? He's like, I can't do it. He's like, those rocks aren't real. We've been told our whole lives not to go in these woods because there's creatures that are going to fucking kill us. He's like, I'm not doing it. You shouldn't do it either.
Especially after like a week ago, they were
in the village, dead shit all over the place. Yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing it. You shouldn't do it. Those rocks aren't real. I'm going. And then he leaves, and her and the other boy keep going. It immediately starts raining. They're not far in the woods. It immediately starts raining, and they put up like a tarp and set up camp to avoid the rain. The father described this, he said, as a half day. And it's like early evening when they're starting, and it starts raining immediately. Like I'd be like, all right, a half day trip. I'm gonna leave at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, get there midday and be back.
Do a little bit in the dark, but most of my trip is gonna be during the day.
Probably, might even be able to be back in one day.
Yeah, like it is crazy to me that
they
like,
would leave at later evening and within an hour be like at night.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
But then another great part. So like the rain stops,
especially when you know there's fucking
Yeah. So the rain stops, and this kid, his name's like Lofton or Linton or something, and he just like he like goes up to Ivy. He's like, there's something out here. It's making my stomach feel like it's turning to rot. It's like they won't hurt you. They'll take pity on you because you're blind, like they took pity on Adrian Brody. He's like, they'll kill me. I can't be out here. You're better out here than most boys, they'd say. But I'm not. I'd die if we keep being out here. Like, it's just so, like, this kid's a piece of shit.
Yeah,
because he's telling the blind girl, he's like, you're going to be fine. He's like, they're not going to hurt you because you're blind. They'll kill me. It'd be better for you if I just went back. It's like Matthew McConaughey being like, it'd be better for everyone if I just didn't raise the little person kid in Tiptoes. It's like, it'd be better for everyone if I just left. Good luck. Like, that's what this kid's doing. And she's like, look, this isn't your responsibility. I'm choosing to marry Lucius. This is my journey. You can go. And then the kid leaves, and she dumps out the rocks immediately because the rocks were bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, the magic rocks didn't exist. The one kid is a genius. He's like, come on. What am I, fucking 4 years old? Like, I'm not just going to be like, oh, we got magic rocks. Okay. She dumps out the rocks, and now she's on her own.
I just got to comment. I just did not like the way that they did that scene with the kid talking about, like, oh, I can't be here. I got to leave.
I loved it because it was, like, I laughed.
No, yeah.
It. Yeah.
I liked it because of that, but, like, for the seriousness of it, I just felt like it was underplayed. Yeah. I don't know if it was the actor or the directing or, it can't be Shyamalan, so it's got to be the actor, am I right?
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So then they cut to Ed Walker and Blind Girl. They go into the old shed that they're not supposed to go into, and he's like, I can't describe what's in here. You need to just walk forward and touch it. And she walks up and touches,
there's like a bad smell in here.
Yeah, she like walks up and she comments on the smell. And she goes and she touches like a claw thing, and she feels around. And she goes, and she like screams a little bit. And he's like, "Try your best not to scream." She's like, "It's those we don't speak of." And he's like, "It's a farce. They aren't fucking real."
This is the biggest claw.
Whoa! There's like 4 costumes of those we don't speak of just hanging up in this shed. And he's like, "It's not
sketchy though." Like when you look at them, they're like
mixing. Oh, they're crazy looking.
They're mixing like multiple animals together. It's like a boar mixed with a bear mixed with a fucking porcupine, something fucking.
Like it's crazy looking. He's like, it's fake. It's not real.
They're costumes.
They're like those we don't speak of aren't a real thing. There were rumors of a beast in these woods that I taught about centuries ago, but they're not real. We invented it. You'll be safe. Go through. But this is the lie that we have to keep going to keep the town here, to keep everyone out of the village.
Well, and then she asked like immediately. She's like, "But the sounds
we created." It's like we created the sounds.
Yeah.
It's like she's like, I don't know. Fuck did that happen?
Like they didn't really elaborate. He's like, we
created the sounds. And then so she is back in. Is she back in, or is he talking with the elders again? Next, so he's explaining to her like you'll be safe. You're marrying him. You gotta go. he explains all that and he's like, you're going to go and you're going to be safe.
Oh, I think it's the part where he's talking to
Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah. And they're talking because he's telling her that he's going to send Ivy to go to the town to get the medication. But, like, the main reason why he's saying is because, like, you know, they're, like, in love.
It's very emotionally charged. So she's sitting there taking care of her hurt son.
Yeah.
And it's very emotionally charged. And he's like, I'm sending Ivy, like, we're going to get him help.
And he says to her at the end, like, this is the one thing that, like, I can do for you.
Yeah.
Like, this is the only thing I can do for you.
Which can be taken as, like, taken two ways. Be taken as, like, yes, I understand, like, we have feelings for each other, but I'm married. This is all I'm able to do to show my feelings for you, to show how much I care about you. Or he's like, the best I can do is send my fucking blind daughter to go try to figure this out. Have her go wander through woods she's never been to before. Like, it's just one of those two ways. Like, sorry, I can't do more. But old Blindy's going to go wander around and try to figure it out.
Yeah.
So then we cut back to him meeting with the elders. They're like outside, standing in a circle, and the elders aren't happy. They're like, "You're sacrificing everything we've built here. You know, what if she tells?" The guy's like, "I can't believe you would do this. You should have consulted us." And he's like, "I'm guilty, Robert. I'm guilty. I made a decision of the heart that I can't look another person in the eyes like I had to look at." And then he points to the dude whose son died, like in the beginning. I was saying, like I've had to look in his and say, I wish we could do more. I can't do it, and I hope I'll always make this decision. And if I sacrifice what we've built, then I sacrifice what we've built. But the future's in Luscious and Ivy. He's like, they're our future. They're who will continue what we've built here. Don't you see this? This was a crime. This was a crime. We're no better than the people in the town. You can't run from loss. You can't run from crime. It's everywhere. Like, it's so emotional. Like, I was like, yeah. Like, I was getting jacked up. This is one part of the movie. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's do it.
Dude, William Hurt is such a great actor. I was like blown away. I mean, it was just so passionate, and, you know, like, and you're starting to realize, you know, what's going on in this movie. You know, and that they sacrificed all this because they all had, I guess, loss, and they, you know.
And that's kind of like, so the one guy whose son died early on, he's like, let him go. He's like, let her go. If we lose all this, we lose all this. But I lost, like, he's like, my wife died back in the town, and I've lost everyone else in my family here. Loss is everywhere. Can't run from loss. Let her go try to find the medicines. And then the one lady's like, she's blind. Like, what do we...
Yeah, yeah.
It's great. She doesn't say it exactly like that, but she's like, why are we sending the blind girl on this?
There's like 100 other people we could send.
Yeah, like,
in this
we're going to
village.
start telling people that this is all a fucking hoax. Like, why don't we send someone who can see where they're going?
Well, I guess because for William Hurt to say what he said, that they're going to continue this on, I guess he's thinking that, Ivy and Joaquin Phoenix will keep the lie going.
So, like, the whole movie, there's been, like, a level... William Hurt he likes Joaquin Phoenix's character.
Yeah.
He's like, he's a good kid. I trust him. He's brave. He's a leader.
Yep.
And so is Ivy.
Yeah.
You can tell, like, those are his two... Like, he loves, like, his other daughter. But you can tell, like, he kind of, like, respects Ivy and Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
So, like, it makes sense that he would tell Ivy. Like, he's like, I trust her. She's a leader. I trust her to do this.
Yeah.
So cut to she's in the woods.
In the middle of the night because they fucking decided to leave late evening.
It's dark and there's just noise. Like if you were in the woods somewhere, it's
Imagine
noises
being
you would
Daredevil
hear.
where you can hear a tick fucking a half a mile away. She's hearing everything.
Yeah.
And she's just fucking starting to lose her shit.
Terrifying. And then it's the morning and she's walking again and guess what? The blind girl couldn't see that the ground was uneven and it falls and she falls into a hole.
Well, yeah, there was like a man-made hole and she
it wasn't man. It looked like there was a tree that was uprooted. Looked like a storm
maybe
knocked
that's
it
what
down.
yeah. But
like,
it's a deep hole.
She notices the hole and then like tries to walk away from it, but the ground
Breaks,
next to it breaks and she grabs on, pulls herself up. She doesn't fall in. But she's wearing a yellow cloak because that's the safe color.
Yeah.
And it's just covered in mud. And she's like, oh,
she feels the mud.
shit.
So she starts like freaking out. And she notices also her cane is broken. and it snaps, so she just like fully fucking breaks it. And then she's like sitting there, and they have this awesome shot that's coming from above, like zooming in on her from above, and it's like she's like the score. I mean, the fucking score.
The score's top notch.
Yeah, building up the suspense and paranoia, and she's starting to realize and internalize that her father said, "Oh, there's rumors of these creatures, you know."
Yeah, so like those we don't speak of probably don't exist. But there were rumors that they were out there. That's how we came up with the idea.
Yeah, so she starts like really thinking about that, and then almost thinking that's true. And then she's like stumbling around, and she feels this like tree that's
the downed tree.
The
like
downed
she
tree.
she feels all of the shit around that hole.
Yeah,
which is important.
But she just ends up getting freaked out, and she ends up trying to like go through the forest more to like basically leave the forest. And she's like, all right, I'm too deep into this now to turn back. Might as well just fucking try and keep going. And
so then she hears something.
She hears some more shit.
And she like kind of looks, and she can't see it per se. She hears it rustling around and moving. We can see it. It's those we don't speak of.
Right behind her.
Looks exactly like the thing that went through the village. And she kind of like starts walking away quietly, and then she steps on a stick, and it makes a noise, and you hear, and it looks
right
at her.
Before they do this,
well, she was standing around red berries or something.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, she was. Yeah.
And then the thing like kind of like starts walking towards her, and it stops, and there's just like a quiet. They're both facing each other. There's no noise.
This shit was so scary.
And then you hear, and then those we don't speak of just go like grunts and starts running at her. And you're like, oh shit!
Full like first thing I thought was good form. Good form. Good form. That was a good stride. You know, opposite arm to opposite leg. Like he, whatever it is, got the fundamentals down.
Chin to hip, just fucking doing it.
Yeah,
running at her. Coming up behind her. Goes to grab her, looks like he gets her, but then we get another camera angle, like she stepped off to the left and avoided it, and then it like runs a little bit further and then turns around and chases after her again.
It's making weird noises, dude.
It's making very weird noises.
Yeah.
And then it starts chasing after her again. She's running, she's got a little bit of a lead, and she feels around, sees where she is, and then stands with the yellow and holds her back to it like the kids earlier when they were playing, like, oh, see how long you can stand with your back to the woods. Which
she was told she was the best at.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She was.
No, she wasn't.
Yeah, she was.
She was told Joaquin Phoenix is the best at it, and he has a record that will never be broken. How is it that you can do things so fearlessly while the rest of us shaking our boots?
You're right.
Yeah. Fuck out of my face with this.
Okay, it's either one or the other, but you're right.
So the thing runs at her, and then as it's about to grab her, she steps off to the left, and it goes in the hole. Cut straight to Adrian Brody's parents opening the door to the quiet room and seeing that he like ripped out the floorboards and got out of there. And then it cuts immediately to Adrian Brody dead in the hole. So he found the costumes. He dressed up as those we don't speak of and was chasing after the blind girl in the woods and then died chasing her.
So the costume was in the floor.
Was it in the floor?
Yeah, it was in the floorboard.
So they had a costume down
there.
there.
They had another one.
So they weren't all in the shed. They had one down
and
there.
I'm assuming that there was maybe a key or something. Or maybe he also got through the floorboard.
Well, so he broke the window.
Oh, he broke the... Okay,
yeah.
That's what it was. Okay.
He broke the window and got out. Now he doesn't die right away, which bugs me because like the way the hole isn't far enough to where like it doesn't look like he punctured anything.
Well, he might have, because they have all these things that are on the suit.
But it felt like a type of fall that you're either hitting your head and like being out and then dying because you're not getting any help in there, or you're breaking your neck, or you're fine. It didn't feel like one that you fall in and you die after a couple seconds. I feel like he should have just been dead in the hole.
Yeah.
And then like Ivy walks up.
Just to be an actor, to be Adrian Brody, and know that you have to die, but also give a performance of dying, being, disabled.
Yeah.
Because so he's like,
Hats off to Adrian Brody.
but yeah, he did great. Honestly, I thought like at the end, like I
It
thought
looked like a disabled person dying.
yeah, like he's like his jaw is like looking at everything really weird. It's pretty well done, but they kind of zoom out on him, and the costume, man, is so fucking weird. It is so like it's
so bizarre looking. It's man bear pig.
Yeah, it's literally man
It's
bear.
man
pig
bear pig with porcupine skin.
with a red Robin Hood fucking
Yeah, it's bananas.
Yeah, Red Little Riding Hood.
Red Riding Hood.
Yeah, no,
Red Robin Hood. Robin Hood probably had like red somewhere in him.
Yeah. Okay.
Robin Hood and Little John walking through the forest. Oodle alley, jolly what a day.
I don't know what.
Or golly what a day. Golly what a day. So it's the animated Robin Hood movie with the foxes and the bear. It's a great movie. If you've never seen it, it's amazing.
Yeah. Way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So she walks up in the hole and she doesn't.
Well, she's got a stick now.
Yeah, she broke off a stick and was using it to
Yeah.
meander away. She did that earlier, but and like she can't see that it's Adrian Brody dead. The thing, she just knows that the thing's dead in there.
Yeah.
And she walks off, and then they're
Imagine being blind, having that fucking
they're
experience.
sitting there. Joaquin Phoenix is hurt in the bed, and they're like checking on him. He's like, oh, he's got such a strong will to live. Then the parents walk into where the elders are, and they're like, there's something happened. And they explain how Adrian Brody broke out. And then we're back in the woods. She finds a road, and then there's the voice of her dad, and it's like, you'll find a road, only you cross the road. Make sure it's only you going down the road. And you follow that road, and it'll take you to the town. And then
Yeah, the other two pussies are supposed to stay at the road.
They were supposed to be there until she got to the road. They didn't come close to making it to the road.
Yeah.
So now she blindly, with her stick, makes her way down the road, and she's following it. And then she shows up at a wall.
Yeah, it's
It's like a big ivy fence wall.
yeah. Yeah, and then it cuts to William Hurt with Weaver. And
Is this? Do we go to them opening their boxes now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're opening the box, and they're showing just like a bunch of shit from back in the day before they, created and moved to the village. It's just kind of like showing that the elders did live in society,
So
but they had but
all of their voices come in and give the backstory.
Yeah,
of what
and-
happened to them.
and they're showing newspaper where it shows like tragedy things that happened to
It's
their
all
loved
it's
ones
all
and
shit
stuff.
like my father was a doctor and a fucking drug addict showed up. So they don't say fucking, but they say a drug addict showed up and needed help, needed medical attention. My father helped him, and then this drug addict shot him in the head. That lady earlier who was telling about his sister being killed, she's like, my sister was raped in an alley and then murdered by a gang of boys.
Yeah.
My husband was murdered and stripped of his clothes and robbed and found naked in the river.
But these guys all are part of like a fucking book club or something.
It's all of them. So it's all of them talking. It's like they're at like a support group, and then the last thing you hear is William Hurt's character, Mr. Walker, and he's like, my name's Edward Walker. I'm a history professor at whatever school, and I think I have a solution to all of our problems. And that and shows a picture of all of the elders like out in regular society. So they all were like fed up with society. They're like, there's too much crime, too much all of this. And he's like, I got a solution. And they started the civilization. So then we cut to Ivy jumps the fence, and a Land Rover pulls up and starts like doing the siren, and it says Walker Wildlife Reserve on it. And this like guard gets out, and his walkie-talkie's going off, and she's like, "What was that noise?" Like the siren. I have one
and a car too. She's never heard a car drive by.
Yeah, I have a real quick problem with this though. Why lie about the year?
Well, because the clothing.
Everyone was but like Ivy was born in that village.
Yeah.
They can say it is the year 3020, and she'll just be like, yeah, whatever. This is what things are like in 3020. This is all I know. They don't need to lie to the people and be like, it was 1890.
Well, I'm guessing they were
1890. That means nothing.
Yeah, and I think the reason why is because the families probably only had like old clothing. Like What did they? I don't think they said the year when they created the village. Did they? It was probably
the kid was born in 1890 and he died in 1897.
No, yeah. But that's a made up year.
Why make up an old year though? It's obviously this guy's driving a Land Rover, like a nice like this. This movie takes place in present time. For what this was, this movie came out in 2004. Like this movie took place in 2004.
No, yeah, you're right.
Why lie about the year? Why add extra lies to what you're doing?
Just probably to
Ivy doesn't know what year it is.
Probably just try to make everything so simplistic, and because they probably like he's a history teacher, so maybe he only teaches up to that point of history or something, to where it makes it believable that they're in a village anyway or something. I don't know.
You don't need to say years.
Maybe it just helps like their whole lot. Well, because there's probably so many questions.
It just adds a layer. It just adds another lie. That doesn't help anything. It makes more lie, more shit. You got to all be on the same page with.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah.
Fuck Ed Walker. So this kid comes up. He's a security fucking cop for the wildlife reserve, and he's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Where you need to get back in your car?" And she's like, "My car." She's like, "What do you?"
Well, he was like, "You're not allowed to be here."
Yeah, he's like, "You're not allowed to be here." He's like, "Where do you live?" And she's like, "In the woods." He's like, "You live in the woods?" And then she goes, "Can you help me find these things?" And hands him a list of medicines. And he goes, "Is someone hurt in there?" She's like, "Yes. I can you help me find these things?"
Yeah, she's almost like crying. She's like, please help me.
And like he's very conflicted. He keeps getting things on the walkies. And she's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Kevin." She goes, "You have kindness in your voice, Kevin. I wasn't expecting that."
I would have been taken for a ride just like Kevin did. Bryce Dallas comes out the woods, gives me a bunch of cute lines. I wouldn't know what to do.
And then Kevin's like, there's a first aid kit in our little shack. And she's like, "You can get these things?" She's like, "Please take this as payment." And like hands him
some like gold chain or something.
Like a chain. He's like, "You're not messing with me, are you?" She's like, No, heavens no. And so he's like, "All right." And then he leaves and he's at like a shack, and his boss.
I think it's like a small sheriff's department.
It's like a little like they aren't cops. It's like a ranger. It's like a ranger station in like the woods.
Yeah,
like Jonathan Dickinson. It's like going to the ranger station or something. Yeah, exactly. And his boss is reading the newspaper, and he's like, "What was the deal with that girl?" He's like, just some teenagers messing around. And he's like, "Don't get in conversations. People start wondering why we're getting paid to protect that reserve." You know, a few years back, it was found out that some government officials were paid off to block plane routes from going over there. That makes my job a lot harder. Don't make my job harder. So just very quickly, they're like, so remember, Mr. Walker was like, my dad was the wealthiest man in the town. So they had some money, and it's Walker Wildlife Reserve. So
they bought
a bunch of land, and were like, "You guys guard it. Don't let people in. We're going to start a civilization over there, and we'll just the money's going to keep coming in for you guys to guard it." And real quick, the boss is played by M. Night Shyamalan, which I didn't know until I looked up the cast.
Shyamalan?
No, his last name is Shyamalan.
Oh, Shyamalan.
Right, he's a very, very famous, very well-known director.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites, Shyamalan.
Yeah, it's kind of racist that you insist on that, because if his last name was Smith, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, Smithy." Talking about Smithy? No, you would say you would show the man some respect.
No, Smith.
Say his name correctly.
Nah, Shyamalan's a dope last name.
He's sitting there. It bugs me that he's sitting there reading the paper, and this kid goes in and just steals medicine out of a fridge with like right in front of him, without him noticing, because he doesn't look up from the paper. That bugs me.
Yeah.
Because like I think there's no way that could happen.
Yeah.
But he steals the medicine, and he's like, "Hey, where's the ladder? I got to fix a sign." And he's like, "Oh, it's around back." So he goes, and then next thing we just see, Ivy is in the woods again, she's walking away, and this guy is sitting in the Land Rover with a ladder leaned up against it. So like he helped her, got her the medicine, helped her get back over. So now she's heading back. Everyone is in the room with Joaquin Phoenix. They're all sitting there. He's all sick and shit.
And then Jesse Eisenberg
runs up and says, "Ivy's back with medicines from the town."
Everyone's freaking out.
She came across a beast in the woods, but she killed it. And Adrian Brody's parents are sitting there, and they just immediately start crying, because they're like, "Oh, our fucking son got murdered by this blind chick out in the woods." And Ed Walker, he's like, "This is a good thing. You hear me out. It's a good thing that this happened. He's like, we're going to give him a proper burial, and we're going to say that those we don't speak of killed him. And that's how we can keep everything we've worked for going. He's like, Ivy and Lucius are the future. Your son's death is going to make it possible if we want to do this. And then people like stand up. They're like, I want to do it. I want to do it. And the last holdout is Adrian Brody's mom, but she stands up and nods like, let's do it. And then Ivy comes running through the door with medicines from the town. And she just leans over Joaquin Phoenix and she's like, I'm back with medicines from the town. You're going to be okay. And then it cuts to black. Credits start rolling.
And that is The Village.
And that's The Village. So, like, they let a 7-year-old kid die because they're just like, we don't want to go to the town and get medicine. Like, that blows my mind. That's how the movie starts. You're at a 7-year-old's funeral, and all that could have been done to prevent it is just someone's like, well, I'll just go to the town over there. Kid's sick. They got medicine there.
Well, especially if you're the father that knows.
Also, there's a doctor in the town. He should just, like, have a stock of shit that he's like, hey, because they have control over everyone in that town. Like, a stock of shit like, I'm going to need this, and that. I'm going to need antibiotics and all that stuff. Let's keep it on stock, and, like, monthly, one of us at night just goes and meets someone at the gate.
There's someone
at the edge of the preserve. And M. Night Shyamalan, who's in charge over there, he just gives us what we need. And
yeah.
And
so
there's
people that contact you from the village to make sure that you're being paid and make sure that no one is getting in.
Like money's going somewhere. Like,
these older people are already dressing up in the costumes and roaming through the forest and having devices set up that create sounds in multiple parts of the forest. The father wouldn't think to risk just... Like, it's not like he's, like, declaring to the village, I have brought medication for my son. No. He could have snuck medication to his son in the middle of the night.
Over there and get it to the doctor. Yeah, like it's so bizarre because they have to have contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Someone is paying all of those guards to watch the fucking
Which
order
means
there.
Probably Williams probably does that, I'm assuming.
William Hurt?
Yeah.
So Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker.
Yeah.
I'm assuming does that since it's Walker, Wildlife Preserve. To think that he wouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to try and get some medication for your son. We'll sneak it into him in the middle of the night. It's bonkers, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the moment it happens to his daughter, he's like, oh, no.
No, this is different because it was a crime.
Yeah.
He's like, the disabled kid stabbed him a few times, and whoa, we can't let that happen.
Yeah. But your son, who only was alive for 7 years.
We can't let that happen, and we got to send my fucking blind daughter. She almost died just on accident.
But, like, Joaquin Phoenix and Bryce Dallas, they're like, even in the movie, their age is probably 25 to 30 years old. It's not like
they're not. Yeah,
but it's just funny though that the 7-year-old who hasn't really lived life yet doesn't get the chance.
Yeah, he dies of just an illness, probably the flu, and they're like, we don't have any way to stop this.
Well, yeah, that's The Village. I've been watching this for a while now. I've always liked it. Really because of the acting and editing and
the acting and don't even get me started on the score. The score's amazing,
right?
But the acting was very good. Like if it was whatever acting, this would have been such a worse movie. That is the only thing that like kept this movie together in the sense of like, Joaquin Phoenix did a great job. Bryce Dallas, whatever her last name is, Howard. Bryce Dallas Howard did a great job. Like William Hurt did a great job. Mm-hmm. That kept this movie together.
It really did. Now I just think, man, what about The Village 2?
That's not a thing, is it?
No.
Okay. All right.
Would have been funny if they created some fucking crazy twist with Joaquin Phoenix.
Well, it was that he was dead the whole time.
Oh, that's the twist, yeah.
And like Shyamalan's like, well, I got to have someone dead the whole time.
Yeah.
That's every movie I do needs to be that.
Yeah. Yeah, Shyamalan did a fucking great job.
He definitely did in some regards. Like he got the most out of his actors, and I mean, don't even get me started about the score. The score was second to none.
Fucking score.
But I don't know. Like I didn't really give a shit about what happened to the characters. Like they were scenes that like were supposed to be super emotional, and I was supposed to be like, oh, this is awesome, and I didn't feel that. That's why I didn't like it a lot. Like it felt like I was supposed to feel much more invested in the characters when I really didn't.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because I'm just hollow and dead inside. I don't know.
No, it could be.
But I didn't. But you know what movie I am very invested in every character?
What?
Our movie next week, Fear, starring Mark Wahlberg. Guys, if you have not seen it, I highly suggest you watch it before we break it down next week. It's Mark Wahlberg. It's Reese Witherspoon. You can watch it on Hulu, HBO Max, or Amazon Prime with premium subscriptions to any of those. Or you can rent it on YouTube, Google Play, Apple TV, or Vudu, all for $3.99. Or if you got a premium subscription to Hulu, HBO Max, or Amazon Prime, just watch it there.
Oh wow, look at that.
Guys, I can't overstate how much. So, like, if you've noticed a theme in the type of movies I like, it's where there's an antagonist who's just out of his fucking mind, and that's what Mark Wahlberg is in this movie. I can't overstate how much I love it.
Well, I haven't seen it, so
check it out. We're going to be talking about it next week. And guys, if you have movie ideas for us, DM us on Instagram at 56Kings, spelled out in words, FIVESIXKING. Shoot us a DM.
Yeah, let us
comment under post if you think there's shit we want to do.
Yeah, let us know what movies you want the 56 Kings to break down.
Or if you're a little, you're a little bashful, you're a little reserved, a little nervous, a little shy, send us an email.
Yeah.
56kings@gmail.com. That's FIVESIXKINGS@gmail.com. Reach out to us because we want to hear from you guys. If there's a movie that you want us to do that kind of aligns with the type of movie Braden and I enjoy doing, like I'm not going to do like, if you're like, you should do Deer Hunter, and like Deer Hunter, it's great. There's a lot of heroin. There's a lot of Russian roulette. But Deer Hunter's like 4.5 hours.
What about Sharknado?
No, so like doing movies like that, it's like that. Don't suggest movies that are supposed to be comedies to us. Because that's like, yeah, they were trying to be funny. Like, I get it.
Yeah, if it's not like Tiptoes.
Yeah. If you got like a serious drama that you were hysterically laughing while you're watching, shoot it our way.
Yeah.
If you got just a fucking fun movie like Smoking Aces, shoot it our way. Mm-hmm. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear from the 56 Kings followers. Before we wrap it up, I want to say thank you to Suave Smooth for
big thank you
for making that great song, letting us use it on our podcast, and also for buying local.
Yeah.
I'm eating at locally owned breakfast joints that are West Palm Beach staples, and I see you come strolling through. You're not too big to buy local. I appreciate that. I want to thank the Subway employee who didn't fucking pander to Aiden Ross and the 6 friends he brought that he kept high-fiving and be like, what's good? And then his fucking 20-minute trip to Subway. I want to thank that Subway worker for just being like, yeah, thanks. Or he didn't say thanks. Like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I imagine I get it all. Yeah, that's how you should respond when someone videotapes you saying, I'm giving you a bunch of money. Fuck Aiden Ross. Mm-hmm. And maybe most of all, I want to thank David Straley for popping by. Longtime listener of the podcast. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A Palm Beach County legend. The love of my life. He's a great dude. It was great to see him today. Great.
Yeah,
to have
maybe
him
if you're
stop
a
by.
loyal listener like David, maybe someday you'll be able to make an appearance on the 56 Kings podcast. Who knows?
Nah, it's doubtful.
Yeah, it's doubtful, but
But
you got to keep them hoping, am I right, David?
Yeah, 'cause they got to be like comfortable enough that they would just pop in like that.
No,
Like, he just popped in. It was great.
That was well. That's because that's our boy.
But guys, thank you for listening. Check out The Village. Maybe you feel differently than Braden or I do. Let us know.
Yeah.
Whatever Braden was saying, the comment underneath, I forget what it was. It was something he was, if it's weird that Joaquin Phoenix brought that guy firewood. If you feel inclined to comment. If you don't comment, I'm going to assume you watched it and you're like, yeah, there's nothing weird about that. I'm not even going to waste my time commenting.
Well, I'm going to assume that they did think there was something weird about it because it's like...
Well, it's because you're often wrong. And in this case, you're wrong. And watch Fear with Mark Wahlberg and Reese Witherspoon so you're ready for next week. Thanks for listening. I love each and every one of you. Check out our fucking video! We got a video on YouTube. I watched Braden do some editing shit that I didn't know people could really do. Like I've seen it in videos, but I thought maybe it was magic, and I watched Braden teach himself how to do it. So check out the video. It's the UFC 264 punishment, where I'm getting the Ric Flair and the Big Show chops to the chest. It's a great video. Had a lot of fun making, like, editing the video after. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The actual, like, physical part of the video sucked. I didn't like any of it. But check it out. It's a fun watch. Thanks for listening, guys. I love each and every one of you very much, and we'll see you next week.
And don't forget, every motherfucking Monday!
Woo!
Woo! Peace out.